Boys, strap in. I can't even believe he managed to make a third one that's 2 hours long.
The Call of Duty Zombies Iceberg
2
number
hours.
3. Yes, there's more
What is going
stuff,
on?
more zombies trivia,
How is there more
secrets,
exceptional?
Easter eggs,
Tell me
rabbit holes
how.
that we need to dive into. In
There's
fact,
a whole
there's
movie
a lot
we're watching.
more. And so this is the iceberg I present to you.
Wow.
And this one was made by none other than yours truly, aka So please,
dude, the Milo at the top. And Exceptional made it. Okay,
easy on me. I came
let's
up
see
with
this.
most of these entries myself, but I also
It's
cherry-picked
2
a few
hours.
from some other icebergs.
I'm not even
and I
joking.
think it's turned out pretty well. I ran
This
the
is
numbers,
2
and
hours.
this bad boy has a whopping 92 entries on it. So it is
Wow.
one chonker of an iceberg.
92.
Now, for those of you that have returned, and you already know the drill,
How am I
here's
gonna
the
do this?
timestamp. You know what to do. For those of you that haven't watched the first 2 iceberg videos, then you should go do
Dude,
that.
yeah,
and then
definitely
come back
go
to
watch
this one.
them.
I'll put them in an
I
icon
can't
here,
believe-
and I'll link them in
I can't believe my million specials on the thumbnail for one of these, but bro, that is so funny.
the description. And something else I want to
By the way, y'all, the 1 million special is releasing in 4 days. It is releasing the day I come back from my family trip. The video is done. So, there you go. That was part of one of the icebergs.
Into the depths here.
The
Perk
video's
system we
done.
had in the other 2 icebergs. I
It's
didn't
ready
really
to go.
use it for this
March
one.
15th.
The one that showed perks at the top left of the screen.
Hey, let's
and
do
it.
it.
Would indicate,
I
depending
like
on
that.
how many perks are there,
put my
how
webcam down
confident I
here.
am about the subjects I'm covering. The reason why I don't think they'd
I
be
like that, man.
necessary in this iceberg is because most of this stuff is stuff that I know, considering I'm the
Oh,
one that
he's
put the
not gonna
iceberg
put the
together
perks up.
for like
Is
90%
he? Or
of
is
the
he?
entries. And
Oh,
so
no,
there's
he's
only
not.
a few
Okay.
that I'm not really 100% sure about. And when we cross those bridges, I'll probably just mention it.
I'll be
And because
curious
I
to
had
see
that
if I know
control of
most of
this
this.
iceberg
I feel like
chart,
I'm gonna
it's
know
not like I
most of
had
this,
to
but I don't know.
rely solely on what the entries actually mean
Yeah.
and if they're coming up in research. And if you don't know what an iceberg is, it plays on the tip of the iceberg saying, presenting a chart full of information.
Who doesn't know
about
what
a
an
certain
iceberg is
subject.
right now?
The entries that are at the top, aka the
I feel like everybody knows. Dude, Chronicles 2 is at the top. That's wild.
tip of the iceberg, is the well-known stuff
That's a
about a
wild,
certain
dude.
subject. And the further
That's
down we
wild.
go, there's more than there appears to be on
Death
the
of
surface
Night
as we delve
release!
into theories, rabbit holes, everything in between. And it gets more obscure,
Not Death of
unknown,
Night
and sometimes
release,
more
man.
creepy. If there's anything that I've got wrong, or there's some misinformation, or if there's anything you just want to add
see
to
it,
any of
bro.
these entries, be sure to comment down below. If you do find yourself enjoying this, then be sure to give the video a like and
Smack
subscribe.
that like,
so,
baby.
with no ado
I'm-
to be
I'm
furthered,
excited,
grab
bro.
a drink or a snack,
A
as
new
we're about to
iceberg
take
has
an
appeared.
even deeper dive
Let's see it.
into the deep dark.
The deep dark that is Call of Duty Activision Gaming. Who would have thought, bro? Not a cursed image at all, bro. I love that image of Milo.
Element
What a great image.
115. This is the
Okay.
name of the
The
element
most
in COD
classic
Zombies that
thing. Everybody
created
knows
the
this.
flesh feasters in the first place. It came from
Let's
a
see it.
meteorite that was infused with this stuff. Group 935, which I'm sure we all know, would end up using
Also, Jimmy Zielinski never actually outright said that Element 115 was something that he made out of an apothecon. I think Jason Mundell is what actually made it so that it came from an apothecon. So just keep that in mind. I don't think Jimmy Zielinski ever wanted to explain the origins of the rocks. But Blundell did, so
in this very
it's interesting.
element, mining it and extracting it
Oh,
all.
what a
within
map!
excavation
I've never
sites
played this
like
map, bro.
Origins, for example, and they'd be doing this in
Not
mass
trying to get to
harvest
round
the
100 on this
stuff
map
to make
or
their
anything.
teleporters, Perk-a-colas, wonder weapons, and the list goes on. It's safe to assume that a lot of the crazy inventions is a result of 115 being used.
I mean, that's
Uncommon
fair.
power drops. When I say uncommon drops, what I mean is that there are common drops like nukes, insta-kills, and double points, but there's also
True.
ones that are either map-specific or are just very rare to come by. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, they have to be dropped via doing something like an Easter egg, or even
Moon QED has one of the rarest power-up drops ever. Red power-up drops. Also, Infinite Warfare has a drop where you can upgrade your weapon. Very rare. Bonfire Sale. Very
killing
rare.
a certain kind
All
of enemy.
super
Some of them
rare,
include random
you know?
perks, bonfire sales, bonus
Exactly.
points, and zombie
Yep.
bloods. Cold War Samantha Maxis.
Oh,
hey,
bro, we
I know
just-
that got your attention. Don't
Yeah,
you
I don't
start
know.
simping, okay?
I don't know
Okay.
about that one, bro.
Samantha Maxis is one of the
I don't know
most
about that
important
one.
characters in all of Call of Duty Zombies history. As
I
of right
agree.
now, her most recent appearance has been in Cold War Zombies, in which
One in chat is if Samantha Maxis is coming back for Black Ops Gulf War or the next COD 2024. She's coming back. Without a doubt.
She's all grown up and
Without
traumatized
a
as hell
doubt.
from
There's
the events of the
100%
Ether story that
reason she's gotta
transpired,
come back,
as well
bro.
as her being stuck in the Dark Ether and managing to come back, gaining
That's
powers and
wild.
helping Weaver and his crew of operators at Requiem up until the final map Forsaken, where she sealed the deadly entity with the same name in the Dark Ether, and
Yes,
with
sir.
it, she trapped herself in there too. Samantha's whereabouts are unknown. The timeline.
Forsaken
The
was
timeline is
aight,
an
you know.
official Call of Duty Zombie source.
Lads, one in the chat, if you were there when zombie YouTubers got tweeted portions of the timeline, mine I actually got sent to Chronorium by Treyarch. I can literally go to their Twitter, pull it up for y'all. And this is the image. And they teased the timeline like that. Bro, that was one of the coolest reveals ever.
You can look
That
up
was
and
sick.
read at your heart's
It was
desire.
so
It has all the
cool.
timelines from Ultimus's journey in World at War to
Yeah, it
the
was
grand
sick.
quest of Primus beginning at Origins.
This was a gift and a curse for the zombie storyline because it explained everything fully, but then it also removed the mystery aspect of it. So a lot of people I know actually didn't like the inclusion of the timeline.
And even the other
So,
crews, such as the inmates
I
from
still think it was
Alcatraz
sick,
Island and the
though.
transit crew.
It
The
was so
timeline
cool.
details just about every key event in the story of COD Zombies. And
Exactly.
for anyone that's wanting to know more about the Zombies
they spent
timeline
weeks
that's
on
the
it at
books,
Treyarch,
is
bro.
official and
Weeks.
accessible, then you can go on Treyarch's actual website for it, or you
That's
can just
so
look at
cool.
a transcript. Perk
Yeah.
change. This is what I'd consider to be an open secret in Zombies. It's something that's
yeah.
only ever mentioned if you either already know it yourself and are telling someone about it, or if you're the
Or
one
you just
being
play
told about
zombies.
it. Perk change
Yeah.
is when you go up to a perk machine and prone at it, and once you do, you'll collect the loose change from the perk machine, and it'll grant you points, and depending on the game, it'll give you either 25 or 100, or none at all, because some versions don't even have it in.
Shout out to World at
gives you
War!
5 points, at least that's what it says anyway, but in fact, it gives you 30 points. Black Ops 1
I never knew that it gave you 30 points. That's so
removed it.
funny.
I don't know why. And so did Black Ops 2, except for one map, which was Origins, and it gave you 25 points.
Hey.
Black Ops 3 did have perk change, and it gave you 100 points.
Yeah,
and
the
same
100
goes for
points
Black
is
Ops
way
4.
better.
Cold War
And
also carried
BO4, I
on the
agree.
perk change tradition, and
Yep.
it still granted 100 points.
Let's
at
go!
Perk Machine. Infinite Warfare, Exo Zombies,
sir.
and World War II Zombies didn't have it either. And
I mean, that just tells you if it's a good game or a bad game
of
right
course,
there, fellas.
neither did Vanguard.
Spare change.
Dead Ops
I mean, right there.
Arcade. Dead
Right
Ops
there.
Arcade is
Dead
COD
Ops!
Zombies with an arcade twist.
Woo!
You could originally
One in
be
chat if
accessed
I
and
stream
use the
Dead
terminal
Ops.
in the
I got
genius
to.
menu of Black
I gotta
Ops
beat
1,
all
which
three
is
of them
the
on
same
one
game
stream.
Dead Ops Arcade was first
I
introduced.
love Dead Ops,
It's a
man.
really fun and
Such a
casual,
fun game.
laid-back experience that
Yes,
you can just
sir.
kick back and play with the boys in couch co-op. Something which is unfortunately
so much fun, bro.
dying in gaming now.
Yep.
That pains me to say. The
Yeah,
story,
couch
I'm
co-op is
using that term
dying.
loosely, is about
Sad.
a gorilla zombie in a spacesuit named
Can you
Cosmic
believe that?
Silverback that's out to kill the players who are the soldiers on his island that you're exploring. He is the heart and
real,
soul
bro.
of Dead Ops Arcade and makes the experience much more wacky, always appearing when you least expect it. Seriously, this guy is a
Yeah, F
menace.
this guy, bro.
Outbreak.
They're
Outbreak
all
came
bad.
out in Treyarch's most recent COD game, Cold War. Much like college students, Treyarch were in their experimental phase,
Much like
trying
college
out new
students,
things,
for
and
real,
it seems
bro.
that they wanted to mix up the formula, and after enough cooking up, they served it to us.
True.
An open world-ish zombies mode with
Chat, Outbreak
Warzone
WRL.
and Fortnite
I gotta
style
ask you.
looting and objectives
What
to
did
do
what does
around
the
the
chat
map
think?
before traveling to the next
It's coming back for
world,
COD
which would just be a
2024,
different
so-
map, in which each time you did
It's
travel to
confirmed.
the next world, it would become harder. The community is at a 50-50 split with this game mode.
Literally, my chat is even 50-50 right now. I think it could be way better in COD 2024. I agree, if we get what we got in Cold War again, it's not going to be fun.
With some people liking it and some people not. And that 50-50 split I said is no
It
exaggeration
needs to have a
either.
lot more.
With
Yeah,
stats
literally,
coming out claiming the
50-50 in
split
my
of the
chat.
player base in Cold War of traditional round-based to people playing Outbreak is literally 50-50.
I believe Outbreak players are Warzone players. Am I right when I say that? Like, only multiplayer fans like Outbreak, but they don't play round-based. I'm like 100% sure on
It's
that.
a really
I'm
interesting
so
statistic,
sold on
and
that.
personally, I think Outbreak should be further adapted. And I'm going to take a pretty good guess here and say that we probably are going to be seeing Outbreak again. So Outbreak enjoyers, rise up. Custom maps
Get 'em
originally
outta here,
started
bro.
out in World at War when Treyarch did what they
The only content left on Zombies, custom maps,
do
F in
best
chat.
and please the community
The
by
only
releasing
thing
mod
left.
tools for the
That's
most
it.
dedicated
That's all we
map
have.
designers. And
That's
people
all
who
we
are bored
got.
and probably had a lot of free time on their hands to be able able to roll their sleeves up and get to work creating the zombies maps.
Well, it wasn't just because they were bored. There was literally nothing left.
And the community
there was nothing left.
If you could think of it, you could make a map of it. They were a bit difficult to access without pulling up a YouTube tutorial, but once you got that out of the way, and the dodgy websites you had to get them from, they brought an infinite amount of
World at War zombies downloading EXEs, boys. That was the scariest thing of my life.
Play value to
you get all these viruses. It was awful.
For Black Ops 3, making the best COD Zombies game ever. Somehow,
BO3 fixed it.
They were much easier to access, opening them up for more people via the Steam Workshop.
Look at that workshop,
we have Call of the Dead Remastered that came out as of the time I'm recording this, and Transit Remastered, as well as some other ones in the works.
Die Rise, baby!
If you want to sold
Let's
about
go!
Transit Remastered, I'll just say this: it has no fog. You've probably heard me mention crews by the name of
that's
Victis,
a W.
Primus, and Ultimus. These simply refer to the character groups within zombies. Ultimus are the 1.0
Transit purists are upset,
versions
though.
of Richtofen, Nikolai, Takao, and Dempsey from World at War. Victis are the Green Run crew from Transit, and Primus
Lads, what's the worst crew? Victis, Primus, or Ultimus?
Are the younger versions.
I'm gonna say
Ultimus
it's Victis.
Origins. These are official names given to them by Treyarch, and I've got to be honest, this makes the story way easier to
Chaos,
and
dang,
understand.
bruh.
The announcer.
That's some disrespect.
Since Shinonuma, there's been an anonymous, demonic voice that will announce certain events going on within the game, like the power-ups you pick up from mowing down the horde. The voice is none other than Samantha Maxis.
Oh, it is.
There are many announcers in zombies depending on the game and the map, such as Richtofen, Maxis, the Warden, the Forsaken, and also the cult leader from the Chaos story.
Max ammo.
Oh, that's so weird that the 9 leader is it.
Max ammo.
Dude, the BO4 one sounds so funny. Max ammo. It just sounds so low. Oh, we got some good ones in here. EE4C, Zombies Chronicles 2, Banana Colada.
Round skip.
Come
in
on.
Shadows of Evil, upon spawning in, if you look up at one of the buildings, you can just see the Shadowman looking down at you.
He's just
He
be like,
lingers
"What's
there
good,
for
G?"
about 20 seconds and eventually poofs out of
dips.
existence. However, if you decide to stuff him full of bullets, you'll quickly notice that the round will change from 1 to 5. If you keep going,
One in chat if they should bring a mechanic like this back. I mean, it was so cool.
Up by 5 each
It was
time,
so
going
cool.
from 1 to 5, 5 to 10, and 10 to 15. It's a really
it's
neat
so
way
weird
to
that
get that
Shadows
quick
is the
boost
only
if you
map
wanna
that
head
has
straight
this.
into the action in a given match, and you're even given points to compensate for the high
True.
rounds, helping you get started.
I think they should
Fate
keep
of the
adding
Chaos
that.
Crew. The Chaos Crew were a set of characters that were introduced in Black Ops 4 as part of a, at the time, separate universe entirely to the Ether storyline we know and love.
Separate.
Or at least until that
Yo,
one line in Vanguard came along. And this storyline had so much
Yeah, dude, Vanguard's got to make it canon, bro.
potential.
Vanguard
The basic summary is
storyline.
Scarlet Rhodes must find her missing dad, who
No, it's definitely
knows
connected,
secrets
bro.
about a strange cult, and she has 3 allies backing her in her search. They were unearthing secrets from Greek mythology, and that gave zombies such a unique angle to experience it from. Sure,
real,
there were
bro.
issues, but it left off
thank
on
you
a
for the
great
5, bro.
cliffhanger.
Appreciate it.
And this was at
Thank
the
you,
end of the
Face.
DLC 2 Easter egg, with Scarlet being
who
down
just
for
got
the count
dodged, bro?
because she kissed a girl and she liked it, with the woman helping her ended up being revealed to be freaking Medusa. Shaw and Bruno ended up
Yeah,
becoming
get them
part
out of
the
here.
occult, with Diego being the only one left, hiding.
Lads, okay, genuinely, did anybody finish the Ancient Evil cutscene and was like, yo, I'm so hyped for the next one? And then it just never came out. No, bro.
away with no plan
Ancient Evil,
on what to do.
ugh,
Then the
dude.
story was never picked up again because of budget cuts, or maybe
Nah, just because Treyarch was like,
Treyarch had too much of
we
the
gotta
play
do this
balancing
anymore.
out 2 stories.
Activision's was like,
I'm
bruh,
sure
cut it
we'll
out.
get to that soon. The Chaos
No,
Crew's
bro.
journey was never continued, so we have no closure and no answer as to what
And you
happened
never
to these
will.
characters.
And you
It
need to
really did
leave it
help
like
this
that.
was discontinued.
It will never
It's
come
such
back.
a climactic point
It
of
will
the
never come
story.
back.
It is a real shame, and therefore the fate of the Chaos Crew is unknown to this day.
Woo!
Zombie Icon.
Let's
The eyes
go!
of the zombies in Call of Duty are distinct above all else. They're used to great
They really
effect
are.
with their simply mystical yet surprisingly
look at how
fleshed out
much they
design
stand
of the
out.
eyes of the dead. Something
always
which it
powerful.
seems many games have taken inspiration from. You see, the fleshed
True.
out part comes in with the reason as to why the eyes are like that.
Exactly,
With the zombies'
yeah.
eyes being a way to tell which omnipotent character, usually whoever the announcer
Which
is,
crew
in
is
the
the
game,
classic
is
crew?
controlling
Ultimus.
the zombies
That's
at
the
that
OG, that's my
specific moment
favorite.
in the storyline. From what we know so far, yellow is Samantha,
Yeah.
Orange/red seems to be the Shadowman, and blue is our boy Edward Richtofen. Although we don't have a complete picture about the eye.
Yeah, I believe also Jason Modell publicly on in an interview with Mr. Waffles, he basically said that the eye color just doesn't mean anything after a while. And that was during Garad Crovey, so I guess in BO4, eye color is just random. Red is not Satan, no, red is now the Shadowman. That's what people thought it was initially, but BO3 introduced it to being the Shadowman.
Color, a lot of it is still up in the air as to who
it's
exactly they all
interesting.
correlate to, as they seem to be unknown.
Red is Blundell.
Some eye colors are the same, yet there are different beings that are in charge. Regardless, this is a pretty well-known thing, despite us not having all the answers.
Yeah, I don't think we ever will. Treyarch just wants to leave this open-ended so that they don't have to color code the eyes specifically every
Easter
time.
eggs for charity.
Hey!
This is truly something special.
It's sad.
Charity, EE4.
The last E4C was almost over 6 years ago. They have not made a good enough zombies game for us to bring back EE4C for over 6 years now. That's an L, bruh. That's
was a
so
zombie
sad.
community event that brought everyone together for a
That's
great
so
cause.
sad.
16 zombies players/creators were brought together.
I love
split
this
into
event.
teams of
It was so
4
much fun.
to do Easter eggs, well, for charity. St.
Yeah.
Jude's to be exact. Each team would have to do the Easter eggs for...
My ass was so sweaty after both of these boys. I'm not even going to front with you. We sat there for 8 hours straight, streaming and struggling and racing for high Easter egg completions. Like, bro,
all of the Treyarch
no
Zombies
way.
maps that were out at the
No
time,
way.
and they would have to complete them in the fastest time
Bro,
possible.
is that Milo?
Each team
Yeah,
had
look
their
at him,
own
bro.
captain, all the members and their respective groups being as follows. Team Full Weeb had Lex as the captain.
That's my boy!
M27, Conway 22,
Dude.
and Fantastic.
Rad Austin has quit now, chat. I went to go see his Twitter. It's not even there. F's in chat, boys. Fantastical Gamer now is under a different alias, and he makes videos actually with Tommy, who I don't believe was in E4C, but he was Chucky's brother. So, interesting. And Joey Conway, my man, still up and he's still
Team
alive,
Barry
man.
2 had Mr. Dollar JD as the captain.
Team
Cody
Barry
Pizza,
2!
Liam for the winter.
Miss
and
those
Lonely
boys.
Mailbox.
What a team.
The team plays had the Smith plays as the team captain. MC Sportshawk, I'm Chucky for the win, and Johnny J 25.
What a
and finally,
time, bro.
Team Ozoths, if that's even how you pronounce it.
I
Mr.
know,
Waffles
right?
As the captain. The
Bro,
Frenzy,
this is
Wagon
throwback
24,
nostalgia.
and Glitching Queen. There
I
were a
can't
total of
believe
2
this.
of these events, with the second one having slightly different teams and being another success.
Yeah,
This event
it
was,
was so much fun, bro.
damn fun to watch and really brought the community together and helped people along the way. And these made zombies hit.
Will an E4C3 ever happen, y'all? I don't know. Gaz, thank you for the 500,
Dynamic
bro.
round change
Appreciate you.
sounds. From Black Ops
We will be including this in Die Rise. Let's
2
go.
onwards, many maps have
Yes!
a unique round change sound, depending on what the map is to be able to fit the theme of it. Here's the standard round noise change in World at War and Black Ops 1.
This is the most iconic round change. I feel like if you were to play this, most people would know what this is from, right? Everybody knows this. Y'all
This
heard what
one
I
is
just
buried.
did, bro. Boom, 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 boom. When I do round 100 attempts, I just know it. Boom, down, down, down.
Here's the Mob of the Dead one.
Oh, I haven't done this one in a while. I actually can't remember this one. Oh, it goes.
And the last one I'll show you, and probably my favourite, Shadows of Evil.
Oh, and then Shadows. Yo, let's go. Oh. Yeah. Oh. I feel like Shadows is almost just as iconic as the original, bro. The Shadows one is so iconic too now. It's just as good as the original, in my opinion, you know?
There are more examples of these since lots of maps have had these round change noises, and hearing them is really nice. And they're really cool. They had a nice touch.
We will be adding a distinguished one for Die Rise that is new that will fit the map. You guys are going to love it,
To
bro.
each map,
You guys are
making
going to
them
love
feel
it.
even more unique than they already are. World at War character bios. When our 4 OG characters were first introduced back in World at War, there were some really
Jason
interesting
Blundell
bios
Easter
about
egg, bruh.
Dempsey, Richtofen, Nikolai, and Takao, which shed some light on who they are and what their motivations were. Granted, there are a few things here and there which contradict what's true and what's not about these characters, since some things were changed later on.
This is what I believe. The reason why there are discrepancies throughout the games is because Jimmy Zielinski had an idea for where he wanted to take his game, and then Blundell also had his own idea, which is why there will always be discrepancies between World at War to Black Ops 2 and then Black Ops 3 to Black Ops Cold War, I guess.
Such as Nikolai.
I'm not counting Vanguard.
In his character bios, it says Nikolai would marry politically and Gaiman the next man in line to be able to rise through the ranks. He's mentioned in game that he has 6 wives, and in this bio here it says that he brutally killed his 5th wife. Maybe in another life he would have made a
top 5 wives, baby.
Seriously, this guy was putting Henry VIII out of business. But it was
legitimately, it's Nikolai,
that he only ever had 1. Richtofen has a great character bio too, which really gives his character that edge. It's really interestingly written.
I'm kind of shocked they didn't do character bios for Cold War when they had intel. They should have done it.
Sit and read them all out to you, but we'd be here a while.
Yeah, you'd be here for a
Pack-a-punch starting pistol names. In most Treyarch Zombies games, specifically Black Ops 1 to Cold War,
they make them
heresy theme to the naming of the pistols when they were pack-a-punched. A packed M1911 in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 would give you an extra gun to dual wield and would be named Mustang and Sally.
Guns are everything.
Black Ops 3 maps would be deemed as Death and Taxes. The Wellington packs from Black Ops 4
what is the Wellington pack?
King and Country.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Not least, the M1911 in Cold War would become Pain and Suffering. Although you do have to make sure you have dual pistols equipped.
They hate us! They hate us!
You'll just get Pain on its own.
You just get Pain!
I don't need to upgrade a weapon for that. What's interesting is Infinite Warfare made by Infinity Ward and World War II Zombies made by Sledgehammer Games would actually keep with this tradition.
Well, look at the George Romero's
weapons a name each. The Kendall 44 from Infinite Warfare would be called Fire and
Brimstone.
And finally,
I love the
World
Fire
War
and
II's
Brimstone.
pack-a-punched M1911s would become
Eggs and Bacon! Yeah! Bacon and eggs! Other Pat pistol names? I mean, bacon and eggs is pretty iconic. I won't lie.
Speed Cola is well known for speeding up your life, and by that I mean increasing that reload speed. However, it does have another ability, one you might not have noticed. If you rebuild barriers with Speed Cola equipped, you'll notice that it's actually being done faster, especially when compared to doing it without.
Has anyone never not noticed this?
The perk.
I feel like everybody knows this.
Special at all,
you know?
but hey, it's a nice little feature included with the perk. Easter egg speedrun.
On custom maps too, they also make it so you eat gobblegums faster and all that. So
this one is exactly as the entry says. Easter eggs take lots of time and skill, with plenty of room to cut corners and shave off whole minutes on certain steps to save you some time, and just the overall ball ache of spending too long on these already long-winded Easter egg quests. So speedrunners doing what they do best, sunk their teeth into these games, pulling off amazing plays,
things
that
nobody has ever seen.
With their skill set of mastering the game mechanics and good memorization of the Easter egg steps. And if you haven't checked them out,
and literally breaking the game,
I strongly recommend it. They are so creepy.
Tight.
There are some really creative heads in the Zombies community, and the plethora of custom maps let these people bring that burning creativity and talent to the table. Some fellow community members have took to not only making maps of their own, but also making their own perks. There are honestly so many custom perks out there, but there was one that became a
I think there are more custom perks than there are original perks. What do you guys think? True or false?
The perk itself acts like a spiritual successor
I think that's
PhD
true.
flopper in a way, removing the flopping and replacing it with sliding. When the player slides with the perk, it leaves a gooey banana juice acid slime trail behind, and that's why the zombies run over it and slip over like a goofy cartoon character.
Oh, that's not going to kill him, is it?
Don't die, please. It's based off of.
I mean, tell me that's not the greatest perk ever, bro.
Beverage named banana.
Tell me that's not the greatest perk ever, bro.
Even more. This concept was made by Reddit user Rafacio6789. It was
some random guy on the Reddit, Rafaze06789. randomly came up with Noah J, why did I say Noah J? Banana Colada.
A hit with the community, and people really wanted this in Black Ops 3, including myself. I remember Mr. T being a huge
including me,
perk, or at least that.
And they never did. What did they give us instead? Slaughter Slide. Boo.
That's how I heard about it, but people online were really enjoying the idea of this perk, and I genuinely believe this would have fit.
I still think it would have been the greatest perk ever. It was so good that IW even released with the version of Banana Colada, which was, what was it called? Blaze... what was it called? Blaze Runners? It wasn't Blaze Phase. That was BO4.
Right into
I can't remember what it was
3
called.
To utilize sliding. There was Mad Gaz that made a
Trailblazers
thing, and it slapped.
That's what it
Take
was.
A listen to this.
I forgot it. Let's go, Banana Colada! Oh! 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 Oh, baby! That's what I'm saying, bro. Treya, come on, bro. We would have sold you the copyright.
Got a custom design as well. This perk is
one of the
fully
coolest perks
functioning in some custom maps, and it's not the best perk in the world, but it's got chop.
It's honestly so good,
a
though.
great jingle,
It's
and like
so
I said,
good.
it's the Black Ops 3 version
It's a great
of
perk.
PhD.
goes
Verruckt
hard.
Ghosts.
Verruckt
This
Ghosts?
is something else. In the world at war map Verruckt, if you listen closely as you're roaming around the claustrophobic asylum, you can hear these horrific, ghastly screams
just
that echo
screams.
through the halls.
I was like,
They
bro, we got
sound
COD
genuinely
ghosts?
scary and
What's going
weirdly
on?
realistic.
How did Treyarch record that? That's what I'm wondering, bro. They're like, yo, just go in. just go in, bro.
They're one of the things in zombies that still makes me
How
shudder.
did he do
And
that?
don't even try lying, I know they creep you out too. Or at the very least they did at one point. A pretty well accepted and well known theory is that these are the patients of the asylum that died by the hands of Group 935, who took over the asylum and used it for a facility for themselves and their own research, in which they conducted terrible experiments on the patients. And those screams that bellow through the halls are the ghosts of the victims. If you do like looking at
ghosts
the
of
horror
Christmas
aspects of
past.
zombies, and yes, I did promote it in the last Iceberg, and yes, I am promoting it again, then this Horrors of World at War video and this Horrors of Black Ops 1 video might float your boat.
Yeah, we watched a couple of these. These were really good.
I'll put them in an iCard or in the
Really, really
description. But remember to finish this video first. Okay, moving on to the next one. 7 upgrade glitch. Back when BO3 first launched, and our minds were...
Was it really a glitch, or did Treyarch intend to put it on Shadows? I feel like it was intentional.
blown with this masterpiece.
And then they
that is
patched it
Shadows
out.
of Evil.
Yo, yeah, bro.
There was a huge hunt for upgrading the wonder weapon of the map, the Apothicon Servant. Now I need to state here, there was no official way to upgrade it, despite there being a variant of it with a different name and more ammo, implying that it was some sort of cut content to be able to get this bad boy upgraded. But there was a way you could do it, and all you would do was just slap it into Pack-a-Punch via a glitch that was sadly eventually patched. It involved just switching your weapons in front of the
It's not patch if you go on the day one patch, though.
Pack-a-Punch machine.
The
If you
first
held
alien
square at
called these
just the
zombies.
right time, or whatever your interact button is, this thing would actually go into the Pack-a-Punch portal and get upgraded. I remember
I
me and my
miss when
friends
you can
trying this
pop
when
it,
the game
bro.
first came out, and it could be done. You just had to get that timing right. Keepers and Apothicons.
What, chat, should Treyarch have taken that away or not? I don't think they should have. I don't
In the
think they
beginning,
should've.
there were only these two species.
They're only gamers.
They're ancient beings that are at constant odds with one another, with the Apothicons trying to corrupt the universe, and the Keepers...
Yeah, dude, this art, I think, is not even official, but it looks so good. Or maybe it is official.
Is trying to
So
keep
quality.
it. They eventually end up playing a much bigger part in the story and created the summoning key itself. Apothicons are corrupt keepers and they end up going to war with them, and this is marked down in some...
Every time I look at this cutscene, I'm like, bruh, it's so bad. Nikolai says, I pity him. Brother, I pity you.
Zombies history as the Great War. Zombies Chronicles 2.
Hey!
Zombies Chronicles 2 is
My
a
thumbnail.
very well-known-
Okay, I'm saying this for the 9,000th time. Every time someone reposts this, this is my thumbnail. I didn't put a watermark in it. Thank me later.
Follow-up to the forever beloved
Every
first
single
Zombies
time,
Chronicles in Black Ops 3 that was DLC 5. There's so much speculation about this supposed follow-up, where we could get remasters of Call of the Dead, Transit, Die Rise, Buried, Mob of the Dead,
Community's
5,
doing it
and
first.
maybe even Nuketown Zombies.
Nuketown already is on BO3, unfortunately.
This could be on the bottom of the iceberg, in all honesty, because of how many leaks, rumors, and genuine ambiguity there is surrounding this elusive DLC. Honestly, it's worthy of its own video going down this rabbit hole, and I've made a few videos on it as and when the news comes out. But most people definitely are familiar with Zombies Chronicles 2 as a concept, and it is in high demand. As to whether or not it really will happen, it's hard to say. I was at one point
hopefully, eventually,
hopeful, but
we don't know.
As the months go on, the doubt only grows. With the way custom maps are going right now, it seems like there's basically going to be a Zombies Chronicles 2 made by the community, as they're remastering maps that would have been in Zombies Chronicles 2, like Call of the Dead remaster that recently came out. We've got a Die Rise remake in the works, a Buried remake in the works,
trying to go
and
for
a Transit remake in the works, like I said, on an earlier entry. So if Treyarch won't do it, then at least the community are doing it.
Yep. I mean, that's all we can rely on nowadays, man. Who else do we got? Misty? Okay, this is gonna be weird. One-tap Tigers. Oh, bro, if y'all remember that was trash. Misty's nerf.
Tigers.
Oh, no.
Back on BO4 launch, we were pleasantly surprised with the map 9.
No.
It's an A tier, by the way. I freaking love this map.
Mine's
What
an
wasn't
S
a
tier
pleasant
map. It's
surprise,
incredible.
besides the blue screens?
I was in that
the
game.
Tiger enemies that basically functioned as hellhounds that would be able to one-tap the player, instantly downing them, or worst case scenario, ending your
One in chat if you remember these Tigers, man. This made 9 unplayable for the first couple
game.
days,
They
man.
do this using a
was
leaping mechanic
hard.
where they would jump a great
was
distance towards the
ridiculous.
player and swipe them. It was too fast, and
Yeah, it
the
was
fact
way
it
too
killed
much.
you in just one hit obliterated progression and flow in a game when these stripy bastards would come out to play. This, luckily, was eventually patched, and so Zombies players would only have to worry about their game crashing. Dead of the Night. Let me ask you a question. Do you like Dead of the Night? I'm sure this may vary.
Yes!
To their own. Now, let me
I
ask
do!
you this. Do you remember a Dead of the Night trailer?
No!
The answer should be no. There was, in fact,
never.
no trailer before this map
I
launched.
don't
Treyarch
remember.
straight up just shadow dropped this thing.
I'm not even gonna lie, even the trailer they dropped after the map came out was so mid. It was mid. Like, compared to the Shadows of Evil or the Mob of the Dead marking, it was mid,
to all laps. There was literally no marketing material for the map at all. And it's even more bizarre that this map is the only one that didn't have any marketing behind it. The rest did, they all got trailers, but Dead of the Night didn't for some reason, and it's so
Even Noctra and Toten had a trailer.
strange to me. It's very bizarre. There's still no explanation that I know of, and it's confused the whole community that Dead of the Night came out in the dead of the night. Perks equal real-life drinks. Many of the perks in COD Zombies seem to have been inspired by real-life beverages, with their names and overall presentation of the drinks being a nod to an actual real-world beverage. Some examples here are Speed Cola being Coca-Cola, Juggernog being Eggnog, Stamina-Up being 7-Up, Mule
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Cake being a cocktail named Moscow Mule, PhD Flopper maybe being
I've had a Moscow Mule. Those are
Dr.
fire.
Pepper. It does roll off the tongue in a similar way.
Okay.
And Electric Cherry being a play on the words electric chair, which is very fit
I did not realize that. What? Okay, did y'all pick this up?
in for Mob of the Dead. Kudos to whoever came up with that.
I did not
trailer.
realize that.
There are many more, and they're so
I also thought Mule Kick was about, like, so a donkey is also called an ass. And so it's called, like, Mule Kick. It's like a kick in the ass. You get it?
great to think about, and it really adds the charm to Zombies that we love so much.
I don't know.
Upgraded ballistic knife. You might be thinking I'm referring to a simple pack-a-punch ballistic knife,
No,
but
sir.
you'd be wrong. There is a way you can actually upgrade your ballistic knife, making it deal more damage when meleeing in Black Ops 1 and 2.
play Alpha
The
Omega.
ballistic knife on its own, straight out of the box, is a one-hit kill when stabbing until round 5. However, if you get the
So bad.
Bowie knife or sickle,
so
you can
bad.
actually wield them together, making your swipes
True.
with the ballistic knife equipped a one-tap on zombies until round 10, and a one-tap
Still
on crawlers
terrible.
until round 13. And it'll remain 2 hits all the way up until round 20. If you pack-a-punch the ballistic
terrible.
knife and then wield the Bowie knife with it simultaneously, you can end up having it be a one-hit kill to zombies until round 14. And
the Galvanuckles are still better
Round
than all of
16
that.
for crawlers.
That's insane.
It's a nice feeling getting the ballistic knife early on and combining it with the bowie knife and
It is a
sickle
good feeling.
as soon as
I'm
possible.
not even gonna lie,
And it ends
it's a
up
great
making
feeling.
this weapon a pretty viable option for a zombies match. Little Resistance Ray Gun.
What?
This is an OG one, but
Wait,
it's very
what?
popular and well known. Especially considering
I've
this
never
is the
heard this.
first time the Ray Gun has ever appeared in any Call of Duty game ever. In the second
Really?
mission of the World at War
Oh,
campaign, Little
this.
Resistance, whilst you're storming
I
the
was like, what type of ray gun is giving you little
Because
resistance?
if
I
you
was
head
like,
over
what?
to these little puddles and jump
What?
in them in a particular order, there'll be this strange creepy noise that happens, and then these weird looking ancient statues will rise from the sand, and they'll present a ray gun for the player to grab and use for the
Do you guys know these are the same statues that are in Die Rise?
rest of the mission. It's funny that the first ever
Interesting.
and most iconic Zombies wonder weapon wasn't even in Zombies First. Instead, it was in the campaign.
They aren't the same, but they're similar.
Black Ops 4 failed launch. Okay, so now I've got to try
Oh,
and summarize
no.
like 2 years of issues from both a development
Uh-oh,
work
here we go.
standpoint and a
Strap
video
in.
game standpoint for not just zombies but everything in between. When Black Ops
Uh-oh.
4 came out, it was riddled with bugs and glitches, but not the
Oh, yeah.
harmless, Lamau, very funny kind. These were game breaking, and with all of this,
Unplayable.
BO4 was at its
Yeah.
most unplayable state right at launch, which for COD games and zombies especially is its
Is
most important
horrendous.
time because you
Yeah.
have people trying to do the Easter eggs and
Yeah.
hunt for them, as well as people trying out other
I wonder how many people just rage quit BO4 Zombies and never played it again. I genuinely wonder how many people did that on launch.
modes, and so
I'm
a lot
so
of that is when their
curious.
first impressions of the game would be made, and so it
I think
wasn't
most
looking
people
good. In
did,
zombies, many
know?
people were being denied first in the world for the 4 maps that came out, and this was
Right.
because of all of those bugs. But the most
True.
detrimental were the infamous blue screens.
Yeah.
You have to. No, dude.
Oh my
God!
These would happen
JC.
when someone's PS4 would crash whilst playing Black Ops 4, and it would give this blue
Oh,
screen
bruh.
with an error message.
Always
which is
listening
how they
back
got the
makes
name.
me laugh,
And then there's
bro.
also the whole year of DLC not landing, well, all but one, and general gameplay
BO4 was supposed to have a year too. Think about it. It didn't even last launch.
mechanics, like the way zombies
Like
moved
what?
and attacked. There were gameplay choices that hurt the mode so much, like the perk system being changed completely and not hitting like the other games did. And then sprinkle in the unfulfilled promises, like the ever-confusing factions, which, side note by the way, I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be in Cold War Zombies 2, as there were leaks with different faction groups.
Some people are saying they're finally going to put it into COD 2024.
Like Samantha's own
I don't
group,
know.
a Dark Ether group,
I don't
and,
know.
like,
To be
other
honest,
ones,
I don't
but
know.
they never made it in. All of
Yeah.
this and much more that I would have to make a whole video on ended up coming together, and with their powers combined, they made Black Ops 4 fall flat. Now, there are certainly great things about the game too, but there was so much more in the game that didn't land like it was supposed to. I would say that the majority of the community's feelings towards Black Ops 4 Zombies are fairly negative, or mixed at the very least.
Like, BO4 Zombies was an experience designed for hardcore players. This was the first game that casual players were left in the dust. They had nothing,
But the things I've mentioned are only scratching the surface here, and like a lot of things on these icebergs, could merit its own entire video.
This was
Knockdown
really
totem
cool, though.
glitch. In Nacht, there's a glitch that was pretty popular from what I remember, where the player could get to an invincible spot at the stairs just where the grenade wall buys.
Oh, this man's recording on a calculator. Look at this thing, bro.
And if you got
What
into
is
the right
this?
place, the zombies would just stop and not be able to get you whilst you were in that spot.
The
It was almost
text,
like you had some sort
no.
of salt ring
The
around yourself. The video that I've got up on screen here shows just how old school these glitches are.
Oh,
These were talked about
bro.
a lot and mainly spread through videos like this and word of mouth. That's pretty much
That's
all there
so
was.
funny.
There's something about seeing these old videos of old glitches that just fills my soul up with happiness.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I mean, look at
it's
this.
so...
The toaster on the camera recording the TV. The occasional Windows Movie Maker text. It's something special.
Brings you
There's
back.
also this
Brings
other
you
glitch
back.
which I
It
remember
really does.
being really popular too, involving the wall at the staircase that was near the
True.
grenades. There was a
They
loop of
patched
the
this.
wall that
This was
stuck
so
out, and I
big
remember
back
going
in the
up there
day.
too. When I read out the
Yeah.
entry, you might have thought of a completely different
No,
glitch, but I
no.
think that's
There's
what is
so
so
many-
good about
For a 3-room map, Nocturne Totem has a glitch in literally every room. I don't
these
even understand
really
how that
old
works.
glitches. There were so many of them
doesn't
that
make any
when
sense.
I say knockdown totem glitch, you might be thinking of a different one entirely. Man, these were good. The Great War map.
F's in chat.
I've already explained what the Great War is. The
Sadness.
giant battle between the Keepers and the
Sadness.
Decepticons to determine the fate of the universe. as in BO4 there were many leaks and also just strong hints from the zombies mode itself that Treyarch.
I'm gonna just outright say this. If BO4 actually released a Great War map, I feel like more people would go back and play it. What do you, one in chat, if you think I'm true, and two in the chat, if you think I'm false.
That very
I think it's
heavily
true.
implied and seemed to have set itself up for a final showdown during the Great War. This legendary fight we would only ever hear about finally being realized for the grand ending we deserved. But we didn't get that, did we? Don't get me wrong, the Tag to Totem ending
We got
feels
Tog,
special in
baby!
its own
Call him
right.
dead too! I love how we use PewDiePie for this, bro, to mimic JC. No, bro. I remember watching this original PewDiePie Let's Play on the Walking Dead game. It was so sad, but like, taken out of context, it's so funny.
But it's clear that it wasn't what Treyarch were planning or truly wanted. At this point, it feels like we were just waiting for Treyarch to confirm that this was the case. There were also lots of time constraints and budget cuts rumoured to be happening that made the dev team have to cut their losses in the end and try to wrap things up as best as they could. Hopefully one day, Treyarch will enlighten us with a Great War map, or maybe some legend might make a custom one for Black Ops 3.
I'll do it.
Sadly, I doubt either of those will happen. Feral Zombie.
No, for real though, after Die Rise and all the Zombies Chronicles maps are done, I would actually like to team up with a group and see how a Great War Zombies map could be made. It would take years, but if it was made, bro, that would be insane. I don't even know if it's possible. To be honest, I don't even know if it's possible on BO3 hardware. I really have no idea.
In Nacht, you can hear the zombies making normal zombie noises, but sometimes, especially after about round 5-ish, they sometimes...
If COD 2024, though, does have custom tools, Great War map should be the first map that happens on that, 100%.
Make more animalistic,
that would
feral
make it
noises,
so much
like
better.
hissing, growling, and sometimes it's sounding like they're barking.
Yeah, in World at War, they really have these, bro. They sound like snakes.
It's really creepy.
They actually
and
sound like
and that's
snakes.
what makes World at War Zombies feel as chilling as it
So
does.
wild.
And for whatever reason, they never end up carrying this on. Electric Cherry perk jingle. Every single perk in Treyarch Zombies has a distinct and always banging perk jingle.
Except
that is
Electric Cherry.
all but one. Electric Cherry from Mob of the Dead.
So, unreleased stuff. Blundell actually did tell me and Milo that he made an Electric Cherry version of the jingle, but it's never been released. And I wonder if Treyarch still has it.
I mean, it kind of does.
I'm
it's
curious.
just a few eerie chimes that feel very fitting for the map,
curious.
don't get me wrong, but there's no actual jingle or real rhythm or anything. It comes off as very ethereal and ominous. I'll play it for you now.
Yeah. Because this is not the actual jingle. This is just like how it sounds on Mob of the Dead. This is the sound effect of it in Mob of the Dead. But there is apparently a jingle for Electric Cherry that was never released by Treyarch.
Cold War perk ingredients.
So,
on the
that's
perk cans
cool.
in Cold War, as your character twists it around to crack it open, on the model of the cans, you can see the nutritional info on them, which include the
That's so wild. I've never noticed that. I mean, it's good for Johnny J.
ingredients in each perk serving, and they are interesting. Looking at the ingredients, it's safe to say that you should never drink
try
them,
and do
but
it,
there is
bro.
one man
100
that was
grams
crazy
of
enough
sugar.
to actually do it.
Go for it.
Just for some examples here as to how wacky these are, Juggernog has 1,000 calories and contains carbonated milk.
You just die if you drank Jug, bro. You know how much, how heavy 1,000 calories would be on you, bro? It just go in your stomach and feel like a block of cement, bro.
Freaking crocodile eggs, spinach
that
juice,
about, bro?
pure gumption, and is
Oh.
fortified with iron.
Oh,
Coconut
get
has
that outta
115
here.
Calories, nice.
Nice.
And contains trench water, chicken broth, concentrate,
Oh.
adrenaline, ammonium salts, anchovy paste, and feline urea. Which, if you're wondering, it
that's
has something
nasty.
to do with cat pee. And if you're curious about what
That's
would happen if
disgusting.
you drank a whole perk, I think you'll find this theory video that I made pretty pretty interesting.
I should watch
Monty's
this sometime.
scarf. In many of the zombies maps, you can see a little red piece of fabric attached to a post or some kind of object flapping in the wind. At first, these were wrote off as nothing, naturally, it's a red piece of fabric, but eventually they were revealed to have been Dr. Monty's scarf all along. This is a bit of
I do like the way that Blundell added Monty into the story. I like the way he was introduced in GK. I like the scarf analogy. It was really
show
cool.
that his presence is having.
I did not know that he had one in Zetsubo. What? Did y'all notice it? I never knew this.
Some sort of effect
Whoa.
on where this scarf is.
I've
Like a
never
calling
seen
card
that.
he throws out to say he's
And I'm buried? Whoa, that's cool.
involved and is keeping an eye on the place, which has some significance and influence within the map. Jason Blunder was the
That's cool. Okay, that's cool.
one confirmed
I didn't
this,
know that
and although
either.
it might
That's
feel
cool.
like a cheap and easy way to add some meaning to something that was probably nothing to begin with, I personally think it lines up, isn't
No, I
some
think it's
huge
cool.
ball kicker of
I
a
think that's
retcon,
cool.
and changes the way we look at some of the maps, giving
That's
them another
definitely cool.
interesting angle. So big W, Jason. Big W. Misty's nerf. Depending on what you know,
Okay.
reading this entry will either make complete sense.
Lads, if you know this is a grim entry. Misty's nerf, this is an L. I need an L in the chat. Hybes knows it, bro. I don't think most people know it, but this is such an L, dude.
Or make absolutely none. This one is going to be kind of weird to explain,
Yeah.
but here
Yeah.
we go. So in Black
I'm not
Ops
gonna
2,
say anything.
the Victis crew
I'm not
had
gonna
a
say anything.
character in it that people love for two very big around reasons.
My mouth
She
is
had the
shut.
farm girl kind of look with the red check
My mouth
shirt
is closed.
tied up, and so it would show some of her bra and her breasts were exposed. Although the next time Misty appeared in-game was Black Ops 4, and in Blackout, when the community could clearly see her character model, it wasn't pretty. Her face seemed to have been changed for whatever reason. It felt almost downgraded in some way compared to how much better she used to look back in Black Ops
My mouth is closed.
2. Not only that, her melons were made smaller and not exposed. They went from milkers to mangoes. Instead, her chest was covered with a really out-of-place white top or vest of some
No,
kind. The
dog.
crazy thing is, it's
What
not
is
even
this?
just the face or just the chest. Her gloves look different. The shirt, instead of being tied up, is lowered down. and
What
on
is
top,
this?
and this covers her midriff. The shirt being down also covers the pink underwear that she had on that you could just see. That also means that
The attention to detail is way too much on Black Ops 2. You knew someone was down bad when Misty was being made at Treyarch,
you
bro.
can't see the cool bite mark that
That's
she has
so
on her anymore.
funny.
She doesn't have as many freckles on her face, and a lot of her clothes have a much more washed out or dull colour to them, and something that just didn't sit right
I mean, BO4 is nerfing everything, bro.
with the community was how Treyarch went out of their way to censor this, not only taking away from
Oh,
Misty's character
no,
and
bro.
consistency, but also
It's a
Black Ops
nerf.
4 is an
It's a
18
nerf.
plus game, so it
That's
feels weird that
apparently
they
what it
feel
is.
the need to censor it. This was so jarring as it made Misty look very off with all these ham-fisted changes to her character model, and it simply just didn't
I agree,
look
though.
as
Why
good
would
as
they
she
change
did
it
back
like
in
that?
2012.
I
These
don't know why
changes
they
like
would
the
change it like
face
that.
and the chest size being reduced and the censoring resulted
Even
in a
just
meme in
changing the
community
model.
saying that she was nerfed. And I don't think I need to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's not that deep, and it's not that big deal if a fictional character has their appearance changed in a few areas. No, you don't actually need to see Misty's breasts. Game over screen music.
What a wild point, bro.
This entry may seem
What
like
a
it should
wild
be
point.
right at the top of the iceberg, because, yeah,
What a
every
wild
Zombies game
point.
has game over music, though there's a small detail that is not super common knowledge. That being, depending on the map, when you die and get a game over, the music that plays will actually be the instrumentals of the Easter egg song on the map after it, which is a really good way to tease the
Shout out
next
to Kevin
song.
Sherwood,
For
bro.
example, in Shino Numa from World at War, when you get
Yeah.
game ended, the
This
instrumentals that play are
knifing,
Beauty
bro.
of Annihilation
Oh,
from the
man.
beloved map that came out after it, Derice.
Yes. True. That is so cool that they basically teased them like that back in the day with the songs. Kevin Sherwood, bro. Absolute W for that man. That man's always
trend
killing the
is
music,
scattered
bro.
across many of the COD games,
He's
and now
always
that you
killing it.
know, you'll start noticing this one a lot.
Yes, sir. What's coming up next now? Oh, gosh. Some of these I don't know. Transit marketed as campaign?
5-table glitch. Much like the Nacht glitch, this was a glitch that I remember hearing about and doing on split screen with my friends back in the day. This one is an invincibility spot in the spawn room of 5 where you'd have to break a window.
Yeah, the 5-table glitch. This is the most popular glitch of all time.
Would go on the window. Then
listen, the 5-table glitch is more popular than zombies. I feel like more people know the 5-table glitch than Call of Duty Zombies as a whole. I don't even know why, but I genuinely believe that's the truth.
Boards, and once that's done,
it's just so iconic.
Jump onto one of them, you'd be able to hop onto the second one, and then make a leap towards the nearest table. And then you'd have to go and jump onto the main table in the center of the
literally
room.
The coolest glitch ever.
The zombies wouldn't be able to get you. And there's all of this table you can just dolphin dive across. But sadly, this is patched now. Grim Reaper Bloodstains. In Black Ops 1 there are...
Apparently it isn't though. I think there are ways to get back up there.
A bunch of these blood textures that are literally smeared around the
these are everywhere, man.
They look like nothing at first, but when people would stare at them for a while, and when you see them enough times, they realized that they looked like a red silhouette of the Grim Reaper himself. I thought I was the only person that ever saw this, but I've had comments...
No, this was in the OG maps a lot. Kino, Sentient,
and just seen a few people mention it. I don't think we'll ever know if it was really intentional or not, but it sure does add
I think they just copy and pasted a wall blood texture.
That was all to these maps. Weasel's comics. Mob of the Dead's characters are really interesting, and Weasel in particular, much like Richtofen, has lots of secrets and strange angles to him. And one of these interesting...
He turns into a bird by Black Ops 4. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Things about him are his comic books that he draws. He has several quotes
it's kind of crazy,
the
man.
Things that are happening in game are just like what he drew in his comic books.
Appreciate you, Macaulay. Thank you so much.
Just like in my outer space adventure comics.
And then there's his journal, which is what we see in the loading screen for Mob of the Dead, and that details things we see in that map, which darkly implies he has been through the cycle enough times to be able to write this stuff down in his journal, or he has some sort of supernatural, otherworldly knowledge about things that was never revealed to us. Regardless, the comics he has drawn clearly has some parallel to zombies, as well as his actual drawings in his journal. It's weird stuff. Lucy Lane.
Who is this?
Lucy Lane, a nickname given to this woman, is a mysterious and intriguing side character within
Shadows.
At first, she's just the
oh wait, what?
Creepy ghost
She's the
girl
ghost?
in Buried, or the witch, as some people call her. Which I completely understand how she got those titles, having dark brown hair, extremely pale skin, with...
Why does the Buried witch look like a TikToker? I mean, just this angle, y'all.
Black
what is that?
Clothing on, such as a dress, veil, and capelet. But she has a backstory.
She just looks like she posts on TikTok. She looks like she's about to go on TikTok live, dog.
Surprising
I was just there.
Depth and shines a lot of light onto her as an actual character and former person. Granted, there are still things about her that are unknown and can only be theorized. But to summarize, this entry doesn't go on for... well, the entirety of the video. Lucy Lane was the mother of a man named Jebediah Brown, which was the guy that made
Jebediah,
by the way. And this was back when Buried wasn't.
Lads, Pack-a-Punch is a K-Kona invention. That's what we know. That's my boy Jebediah Brown, bringing it back home to America now. Yee-hoo, brother.
It was confirmed that he ended up bringing her back.
That's my Pack-a-Punch machine.
She essentially came back as this ghost. One that's seemingly mourning over a dead spouse due to all of the pictures of a man in her house, and her character model also having tears.
Bro, why is she looking like that?
Running down her face. But Lucy Lane was in fact a real person. It's
no
clear
way,
that Miss
really?
Lane was Treyarch's inspiration for Buried, especially considering that they were inspired by the real Calico ghost town, which is where real life Lucy lived.
Yes,
she was the last OG inhabitant of Calico Town back in the 1800s. And when you link that up to something like Buried, it makes sense that the ghostly lady is the last standing, floating member of the town in Buried.
Oh, that's actually really sad. Now I look at it like that, that's sad.
Something else
that's
that does
sad.
add up is the real-life Lucy Lane is apparently
really
still present as a ghost in some way at Calico Town.
No
with
way.
A scary amount of people reporting that they have seen Miss Lane around the place, staring out of windows, exactly like what Lucy does in Buried. But...
That's actually terrifying. What the heck? I never knew all that. That's horrifying.
Hey, that's just it. Definitely makes sense for Treyarch to have based their ghost lady on Lucy Lane herself from Calico Town, especially since the location is where Buried was built off of. There are more theories about her, but what is definite is the fact that she was brought back to life by her son, seemingly missing a mysterious loved one. And maybe it's because she realized she was the only one left. Zetsubo Mishima Monster.
Wow, that's
now,
sad.
Zetsubo was marketed originally as
Distant
this
monster Easter egg.
horror-filled map, and this weirdly cut feature is still floating around in the game somehow that really proves what Treyarch were going for. At round
Zetsubo was not made as a horror map. I know they
50
tried,
only.
but
If you're observant enough, when looking out into the distance of the map, out of bounds, at
You
a certain
cocking
area
yourself
near
when you
one of
first
the
saw
core
this?
facilities, you'll notice
it is pretty scary. I won't lie. It just looks like a tree
a
that's
really
moving.
unnerving monster of some sort can be seen moving around.
Too bad we never got to know what this monster was, bro. Too bad. It's the Order in Cold War. It's not, dude.
Before disappearing. It seems like it was supposed to play a bigger role in the map, but
It's
it was
not.
simply left in there. I don't know whether
It's
that
something
was
else.
on
It's
purpose,
not the
or
Order.
if someone goofed up and maybe accidentally left it in, but just looking at the silhouette for this thing up close.
You're telling me that's the Order? Bro, that's horrifying. What is that? Is it an apothecary?
Gives me chills. This thing is out here looking like a giant
Bruh.
sea cucumber or something. I don't know what this is. I don't know
Better boss fight than Rev is what it would have been.
exactly what it's supposed to be. It looks like some Lovecraftian
Oh,
monster,
oh, get that
but
out of here.
Everything about this gets under my skin.
It's
As to
not
what it could have
Orda,
been or
bruh.
what it was used for
It's
remains
bigger
unclear.
beast mode.
Atlantis map. I think this would have been amazing in execution.
I think Chaos was supposed to have an Atlantis map.
As
my
well as
guess.
it sounding just as good on paper. The Atlantis map was something that was rumored
I mean, look at that. Does that not look like Ancient Evil?
for
Look
a
at that.
long time in the community and very highly
Leviathan.
requested. This is up there
That's
with
my
the
boy.
Egypt map when it came to what maps people really wanted or theorized about getting someday. There
Is that
was also
Leviathan?
some code in the BO4 game files called ZM_blue, which, you know, might indicate that this could have been some sort of water themed
100%. I think they probably were going to do it, but then they're like, let's do Alpha, Omega, and Tog instead.
map. And knowing that the Chaos Stories theme was mythology, it goes hand in hand. At that point, an Atlantis map seemed more plausible than ever. Sadly though, we never got a map set in the underwater city. Instead, we were left with that evil cliffhanger, ancient evil, rubbing salt in the wound. I mean,
Yeah.
Descent exists, so I guess that's the best
It's literally not underwater, though, at all.
we'll get, but
Like,
I
it's
think
the
I'd rather
worst.
take the custom map Leviathan though. Elemental baby
True.
guns. The wonder weapon in Shangri-La that the community calls the baby gun, because who the hell wants to call it the 3179
JGB
215?
215.
Who's doing that? This gun was
That's
actually
me!
supposed to
I'm
have
doing that!
elemental upgrades to it, which in Black Ops 1 of all games would have been way ahead of its time, considering we didn't get any sort of elemental upgrades all the way up until Origins on Black Ops 2 with the staffs. There's even these
That's insane.
detailed blueprints showing
It
the
took
cut
until
content and
BO2
how
for
they
elemental wonder
worked
weapons.
and what elements there were. And here's the part I'm referring to. If you look on the diagram, it says alternate power sources.
I think this would have been so sick on Shang if we had multiple power sources like this. That would have been so cool.
Each artifact is created with a different stone, therefore they
I
have
really
different
think
effects
this would
when
have been
fired.
sick.
And here are the 4 stones, which I couldn't tell you what elements these are, but this concept seems cool as hell, and it really makes me wish we got it. Kino pods. There's these really weird things in Kino de Toten which give a dark undertone to the place. In certain parts of the map, especially the stage area, you can see these pods
I wonder why this is on Kino.
that at first
I know
seem
exactly
like
what
generic
this is.
storage barrels
Look how whack this
until
is.
you dare to look at what's
Yeah,
actually
look
being
in the
stored
inside
them.
of it.
And when you look, you'll see
It's horrifying. Look at that.
these. It's
Ugh!
like there are creepy zombies
What is
being
that?
stored in these pods and are transported to this place in bulk. By
A lot of people think I made a secret video a long time ago. A lot of people thought that was Nova 6 crawlers.
the Group 935 branches.
I don't
For
know.
the sake of what I'm
Yeah,
guessing
they're
to be
all in there.
experimentation. Maybe
I
these
don't-
zombies are going to be made into
It's horrifying, bro. It's really horrifying on BO1. It's very not noticeable, but when you look,
something else
Horrifying.
or taken out of the pods and maybe defrosted. I
Dude,
guess
TikTok
Group
and
935
YouTube
are
Viber-
ordering frozen zombies
That's
or
what I'd
something.
suggest.
But seeing these for the first time,
it looks like Richtofen combined with a Nova crawler.
it kind of
Yeah.
got me. I can't lie.
No,
I
it's
wasn't
scary.
expecting
It's scary.
that.
Yeah.
Porter's name origin.
It's
H.
scary.
Porter is someone I've actually covered in the Iceberg series before. You know, he's the funny hanging man with the silly legs.
Was that implying what it's like to work at Treyarch? What's going on here, bro?
But his actual purpose in the storyline, he's the guy that made the upgraded versions of the wonder weapons such as the Porter's X2 ray gun, along with others. What lots of people might not know though is that he was named after one of the developers over at Treyarch, Max Porter. Bar with bipod. In the
Bar with
in Verruckt on World
bipod,
of War, you can buy
LOL.
a ridiculously overpriced gun. This
It's as much as Jug. It's a scam is what it
should
is,
be
bro.
illegal with how much it is. I don't
Boo.
care if this is a fictional game.
Scam.
That is asking for too much.
Scam.
Your money or your life.
But this gun is called the bar plus bipod, which is a straight up lie.
It's a
Kinda.
lie,
so This was
too.
never addressed.
It's
when
just a
Verruckt came out,
scam.
and it's still like it to this day. It
Yeah.
costs 2,500.
There's no
fairly
bipod.
nip
It's just losing money and getting scammed.
zombies gun, if we're being honest. And the main attachment it's claiming you can use, the bipod.
$12.50 for ammo on the bar. Delete Verruckt.
You can't.
Delete
There's even a
Verruckt.
really conveniently placed
Delete it.
window for where you would actually
Delete the whole
mount
map.
the gun. So this was clearly supposed to be a usable
I
thing.
cannot
And when I
believe
said
that.
kind of about it being a lie, here's what I mean. You actually can use the bipod, but not without great difficulty in a particular spot. This short explanation from the Zombies wiki sums it up perfectly. The bar with bipod, along with any deployable weapon, can be deployed in Verruckt. In order to deploy a weapon, the player with the deployable weapon must stand directly behind another crouching player beside a railing. When deployed, the bar fires 3 bullets for every time the fire button is pressed. For some reason it turns into a burst gun, I don't know why. The bar with bipod can
What? I never knew that. Why?
also be deployed in the morgue room in Verruckt, yet the specific location is extremely hard to find and is practically useless. The bar with bipod is truly one of the guns of all time. And Eisendrache, whilst the player is getting
Oh,
the
get
wolf,
it
you
out
can
of here,
actually
bro.
learn a story
Okay,
whilst doing this
dude.
quest of the Wolf King, who was the king of
The Wolf King story is so sad,
the
bro.
Der Eisendrache
So
castle.
sad.
To be more specific though, this Austrian guy was born sometime before 1292.
Shout out to
He
this
ended
guy.
up befriending 2 wolves who would valiantly fight alongside him. This can be seen in one of the paintings with the Wolf King himself
Yeah,
and the
DE
wolves, of course.
paintings go
the
hard.
king and his army went to go and fight the Apothicons on the final day of the Great War, which was around the time Primus would waltz in with their staffs on creative mode and delete the rest of the Apothicons. They told the Wolf King to go into creative mode
Okay,
himself
dude.
and build a castle, and later on he would end up having a
Dude,
son.
creative
and telling
mode's coming in.
stories about Primus and
Shout
the
out to
Great
creative.
War. However, some years passed, and eventually, from what we can tell via the paintings, the king was slain in battle, and we see his servant Arthur from Buried, you know.
I still cannot believe it took us so long to figure out that that was Leroy.
The big
I
guy,
still cannot
mourning his
believe
loss.
that.
And as the Wolf King was dying, he requested the giant servant to scatter his remains.
Is that confirmed?
under
It
his
is
castle,
confirmed.
which was
Yep.
done on September
That is Leroy. Leroy was there when he was building the castle.
September 19th,
And he saw the Wolf
1318.
King die.
And the day after that, Leroy/Arthur was suddenly thrown through a rift and ended up in Buried. The Wolf King's remains would
What a
stay there until
tragic
Primus
hell.
would find them and put the wolf's spirits to rest, whilst getting that wolf bow, wrapping up the Wolf King's arc. Call of Duty Zombies side quests are so deep. If you follow the wolf bow quest closely and pay attention
They were. Unfortunately, who knows if they'll still be as deep as they once
to
were.
it, it'll tell you a lot of that story through the steps. And as for the specific details, they're found on the timeline. Easily, this is one of the best side Easter egg quests
I agree.
ever.
I
Nacht
agree.
loading screen.
Same thing with
Black Ops
the
1's
Avoidable one.
Resurrection DLC 4-pack not only gave players Moon, but all of the World at War maps remastered.
The Nacht loading
that
screen was
one's up for
so
debate,
interesting.
because they literally just look the exact same as World at War's, just with Black Ops 1 guns.
Pretty
anyway,
much,
a
yeah.
weird addition was the Nacht and Toten loading screen that was added before the map started.
One in the chat if you've ever seen this before.
Usually
This
loading
was
screens
so
are supposed to
popular
show
back in the
map
day.
layout or give some sort of context or
It was a
story
very
implications,
strange
but with
loading
Nacht's
screen, though.
loading screen, it only leads to more questions.
Yeah. No, legit, this was
It's
me. We
baffled
were
the
like,
community
what
for
is
a
that?
long time now, and we haven't
Yeah.
really got a concrete answer about what any of this means. If there are
Does anybody still know what? I don't think they've ever answered that, actually.
Any plausible theories out there about this, you should comment them down below.
I
because
actually
when you
don't
look
know.
at this, where do you even start? 115 clocks.
Yeah,
In most
I don't
zombies
even
maps
know.
made by Treyarch, nearly every single clock that you look at will display the time 1:15, which is a really nice
No
nod
way!
to element 115.
115?
You could honestly go your whole zombies career and never notice this. Transit marketed
For real.
as campaign.
I didn't notice it till like last year.
I can actually remember this one pretty distinctly, and this has got to be one of the more interesting ones on the Iceberg in my opinion. As the title of the entry implies, this one was quite deceiving. When BO2 was coming out and trailers were being pushed out by Treyarch about their new, vast, expansive map that definitely won't fail called Transit, the way the trailers were made almost painted a completely different picture for what Transit was.
Is that true or is that not true? I mean, that is so true. We thought Transit would have been this incredible bus experience. How wrong were we?
As to what we actually got. The picture that it did paint made Transit out to be some sort of campaign-style zombies experience.
Exactly.
With this
So
one
I
here
get what you're
showing
saying with this
Green
now.
Run, which are all the different locations on the map, and marking each of them off with these skull icons.
Yeah.
And soon these would end up being that really weird player rank system that ended up coming into zombies in Black Ops 2. And after our characters went to each location and it was marked off, a linear line path would follow over to the next one. And this heavily implied to lots of people and myself at the time that these would be missions to complete in each area, and then once it is completed you would move on
It was all just fugazi. It was all just nothing.
onto the next one.
And it was
to
all
this
just for the
day,
ranking
I just
system.
can't wrap my head around the thought process behind the way Transit was marked.
Because, like, you would think that, okay, as you progressively get through the map, it gets harder and harder. That's what it literally shows with the skill ranking, but it all just meant
weird,
nothing.
Really. If you look at the trailer, I don't know what else they could have been conveying, but with the
Yeah.
amount of cut content
so
for Black Ops 2, it really
strange.
wouldn't surprise me if they actually were going for a campaign. I mean, it could have gone anyway, but this is
That is
clearly some sort of piece to a puzzle that we just don't know what it
You'll-
is.
yeah, we'll
it still
never know.
confuses a lot of people.
never
Maybe
know.
they planned it to be like some kind of campaign in the first place, or maybe the map was supposed to be more linear in general than it was, but it's unclear. Shadowman is stalking you. Oh, you thought this one was about COD Zombies, didn't you? No, this one's actually about real life. As you probably know, the
What?
Shadowman is present in Shadows of Evil, but something many players might not even notice
behind
is
me?
how often he's actually there with you. Besides the Easter egg, there are a total of 5 separate times you can spot him. Sure, it's obvious
Yeah, that
when
is
he's at
true
the
on
top of the balcony and
Shadows,
spawn
yeah.
at the beginning, considering that's the well-known round skip Easter egg. But as for the other 4 times you can see him at each district after completing the rituals that are there. He'll hover around for a few seconds before just going
True.
poof again, and then vanishes.
And honestly, we thought there was a massive side Easter egg to do with this, and I still think that the way that the Shadowman appears has something to do with the impossible Easter egg that Jason Blundell brought up. I don't know anything about that impossible Easter egg. I don't know if it's even anything, but I still believe that the Shadowman appearing is a clue.
Back into the
I don't know
shadows.
why,
In
but I
fact, if
believe
you
it
see
is.
him all 5 times, you're given an achievement named From the Shadows. So keep
Oh,
a close eye
interesting.
out for him. Given his omnipotent presence and how he's trying to manipulate the Shadows of Evil crew, it's chilling knowing he's always keeping a close
always
eye on
there,
you,
bro.
stalking you to make sure you're playing right into his hands. So if you ever feel like you're being stalked and watched in this
Honestly, one of the coolest additions ever to a zombies map. Having someone that's watching you outside of the map is a crazy cool idea.
map, it's because you probably are.
I just really like that. Like, it fits thematically and narratively so well. And I kind of want to do that again. Oh, here we go, bro. That's Ted as a zombie. Zombie intelligence. Zombie Richtofen and iOS.
Pronaide.
Pronaide. Oh, bro. Nobody knows this
Pronaide
one.
was a cut
I know
perk
this
from
one,
Black Ops
though.
1 Zombies and was supposed to
Pronaide.
be introduced in Ascension, like
Oh,
Tough Brew
yeah.
was on the other Iceberg.
Pronaide
The only
became
remains of
PhD,
this
I think.
Perk lie within the game files, being
Yeah.
in the code named Perk_Pronaide.
Yeah, it
as
became
well as sound
PhD.
files with Richtofen mentioning how it helps you dive to prone faster. But despite him mentioning this, the video that has the audio is no longer available, sadly.
Saj.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
and it looks as though Pronaide
Shout out to the wiki. Yeah, some dev got fired and he's like, I'm not uploading this.
played a part in creating
See ya.
PhD Flopper due to the ability literally being involved with going prone, which is a really specific thing for a perk. So for PhD to share a similar thing where the whole gimmick of that perk is going
yeah,
prone,
it definitely
you could even
came
go as far as
and
to say that
became
Pronaide
PhD.
could have been an early prototype
No, it
to
definitely
PhD
was.
Flopper. From
Definitely
all of these
was.
cut perks that we've covered so far, it looks as though Treyarch really wanted to be adding new perks into Ascension, and they must have gone through so many ideas and prototypes.
Yeah, they really did, because Kino didn't have a new perk.
And concepts
so that was a
before
huge
getting
deal.
PhD and stamina,
Yeah.
which then makes me
And they made two of the most iconic perks ever. PhD and Stamina Up on the same map.
wonder
bro.
if Pronaide is
Wow.
what an early PhD concept was. What would an early concept for Stamina Up be like? The stuff we know about are in the game files, so as to how
I mean, extreme conditioning and multiplayer, that's literally the OG version of Stamina Up.
how many other perk concepts there's been, it's left only up to the imagination. Game resets. Okay, this one is gonna be something else to explain. When a match of zombies goes
2,147,000,000.
a little too long, and this is more talking about the older games here, that rematch will restart back to round 1 as if you've just spawned into a fresh new game.
I have that
I'm just
number
gonna
in my
clarify,
brain,
I am
bro.
in no position to give you the extremely technical and nitty-gritty details as to why this kind of thing happens, because my little brain cells just can't handle it. What I can
Basically, the computer can't count it because the computer was made in 2008.
tell you is that I'm pretty sure it has
Entities.
something to do with the RAM that all
With
of the assets loaded into the
entities.
map are using, and when it gets to a certain point, the game has to reset itself.
Me and
to
my homies
flush
love
it
the
out. I guess
entities.
think about it as a bucket with rain filling it up, with the rain being assets like zombies, debris, objects, etc.,
Lighting, everything. It's everything.
and the bucket
Assets is everything that you're seeing
is
in
the
map.
game
Yeah.
with the
This is a
RAM.
good
When
explanation.
it keeps raining, which is the match progressing with all the assets being used and displayed, the bucket fills up until it overflows, gets emptied,
Pretty
and so
much.
then it's
Pretty
ready to
much.
be filled up, aka the RAM getting full of assets, needing to clear its cache. From what I can tell, this was used to prevent hardware failure,
And that's why every map has a specific reset time.
which
Because every
does
map
make
is
total
made
sense
differently.
when you look at it that way. Now, I might have the wrong angle of it there, but it's the best way I can explain it based on what I've researched, and like I said, little brain cells. If anyone can properly explain
Cyberpunk,
this,
bro, what
please
the-
do it down in the comments, because this is a pretty deep rabbit hole, and there's
Just watch any Crops video.
people making these god tier huge
Just
ass
watch any
spreadsheets
Crops
about
video.
everything to
You'll
do
find
with
it.
game resets, and this is for the speedrunners
Watch
that can
any
take
Crops
advantage
video.
of the assets and be able to delay the reset time so they can get to even
Download
higher
more
rounds
RAM.
before the big
Exactly.
restart happens. Now, when I say spreadsheets, I don't just mean a few bits of data listed.
No,
for
I
the
mean
sake of
the
convenience. I'm
data.
talking about the kind of spreadsheets
The raw data.
people joke about, but seeing the commitment behind them is so admirable.
You talking about the raw data.
Oxygen for the Win here that made this one was out
Yeah.
here explaining that if you shoot the red barrels that blow up in Nacht, that adds around 30 extra hours onto your already 70-ish hour game because of how you're removing assets from World at War. It's something
That's insane.
that is
What?
a huge technical
I never even knew
zombies
that.
rabbit hole, and
That's
it's crazy to
crazy.
think about.
Are you
how
staying
all
in
this
Canada? No, I'll be up in
so
the
kudos
States in
to
like a
Oxygen for
month
the
or so.
Win for actually doing that. That is commitment, and
crazy.
from what I can tell, it's helped a lot of speedrunners out. So if there are any speedrunners, go and seek out this document. Just remember this whole idea of game resets, as there's an entry later on in the Iceberg that's going to bring this concept back around. Original
Yeah, I do have to say, if you're trying to explain game resets to someone, especially on zombies, how does that even work?
Juggernog jingle.
Yeah.
We all know and love the original Juggernog jingle that plays every time it dispenses one of our favourite magical beverages. Or
Yes,
it can
sir.
even be heard when standing near the machine sometimes. But this iconic jingle is not actually the original one. It turns out the original Juggernog jingle is not the one we see in game and was supposed to sound slightly different
Like
with a
what?
different tune. Although it does have the same type of instrumentals and that 40s vibe to it. But what really takes the cake here is that it was sung by none other than Craig Houston.
Oh, he's talking about the beta version of Jug. Oh, this one was cool.
A creative
Yeah,
director
many
for
people have
Zombies,
not heard
and
that one.
God damn, did he do it well.
Yeah,
Take a
he did a
listen.
good one.
Yeah, that
I wish they would have went with that for the Shadows of Evil one. Because the Shadows of Evil Juggernog jingle is different than that. They should have went with that, bro.
Fire
I
track
think that
you
would've
just
been
listened
sick.
to, that was meant to be in World at War before it was changed to what we know and love now. But
I still think the original is better, but I think that one would have been a great
I've got to
Shadows
say,
Evil
any
edition.
of these could have been the final product, and I would have loved
For
it all
real.
the same. But
For
I've got to
real.
ask, which one do you prefer?
Nah, I
Misty's
prefer the
pet
original.
monkey.
Wait,
One of Misty's
what?
quotes after she obtains monkey bombs from the box is saying how she used to have, and I'm not making this up here, a pet monkey when she was a child. This is the most she's ever spoke about it, and I need to know more about this. What we do know about Misty is that she used to live on a farm, so maybe she just had her own monkey on there. She actually does come out with some really interesting quotes, just at random, that shed way more light on her childhood, family, and the type of past she had in general. The monkey quote is a very unexpected one though, and that is the first and last time she ever mentions it.
What a strange thing. I was gonna find a monkey dancing and call it Misty's monkey, but now I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, why?
Kino. The
Why?
Kino
ladder.
was an old rumor in zombies that destroyed the minds of many.
Did ya?
It was said that in Kino de Toten on the stage there was a ladder that you could make drop down and be able to climb up it, taking you to a new area of the map. Naturally, this ended up being fake and broke the hearts of children everywhere.
Broke the hearts of adults everywhere, bro.
Just like most of these zombies rumors do. And it's similar to the Hitler boss and the box weapon glitch.
Everybody thought this ladder would have been usable because that's how campaign is. Honestly, I'm gonna make a guess here. My guess is that it was gonna be usable and that they were gonna put up the chainsaw at the top of the stage, and they cut that out too.
Which at this point
That's my
is
guess!
quite old now.
Wild
Missing
theory!
M27. The M27 in Zombies was
That's a
first
wild theory.
introduced in the Nuketown Zombies map when the Angels decided to gift us one of the best weapons in Black Ops 2. What's interesting is this
Shout out
gun
to
only
M27.
ever appears in Nuketown. No other Zombies maps. If you really wanted to use the M27 more, you'd either have to play Nuketown Zombies, I guess forever, or go on multiplayer on Black Ops 2, which, listen, I'm not opposed to that. Black Ops 2 multiplayer was so good. It was goated. There was a quote that
Don't go on console or you're gonna get hacked.
was cut from Transit
Play
where Misty
plutonium.
talks about the weapon when it's pack-a-punched. The pack-a-punch name of the M27 is the Mystifier, which is seemingly a reference to Misty herself, which is seemingly a play on words of Misty's name.
It's time to unleash the Mystifier! Yeah!
And I can only assume
Trick needs to be stopped.
that's what the quote about the M27
Trick
was.
needs to
And
be
whilst
stopped.
researching for this, I also learned
They're
that this
too
gun
much,
was
bro.
supposed to be in Black Ops 3 Zombies as well. And for whatever reason, the M27 just gets done dirty by Treyarch, and they seem to not
Yeah,
want to put it
M27
in
got
any of their
bullied.
maps. Although you could argue that the M27
Thank you,
torch was
Charizard,
passed
from
down
4
to the
months
ICR, and that took on the mantle, because the guns do feel kind of similar. And I'm pretty sure when you
ICR is the modern day M27.
compare the
BO3
Black Ops 2
version. I agree.
M27 and the Black Ops 3 ICR, they have really similar reload
Yeah, they look the
animations.
exact same.
Ted's emotions. At first,
Ted's
Ted might seem like an
emotions?
oblivious, goofy bus
Man's got
driver,
emotions?
which understandably
Take it over
hates
for the
being
front.
whacked in the back of the head. But there's more to this little robot than
TikTok
meets the
sound,
eye.
bro.
I'm about to list a lot of his behaviours and what he's been known to do, in not just Transit, but his time at Broken Arrow. Although, if you do pay close enough attention to him in Transit, you can notice he does a few of these things. Ted will show emotions, and this can range from
Ted shows more emotion than the entirety of Victis. True or false?
happily greeting people on
True or
board, to
false?
arguing with people,
True or
swearing
false?
at them. And sometimes he would
He's a
actively
robot.
skip bus stops. And when you factor all of
It's
this in
true.
together, it seems like Ted
It's true.
clearly does show emotion.
Victis got outperformed by AI. I mean, come on, bro.
Now, if we look
I mean,
over,
come
what I
on!
can only assume to be a later prototype of
What
Ted
is going
can be
on, bro?
seen in Alpha Omega, and he's working as some sort of lounge attendant / entertainer, which if you bring the Ted from Transit into this, it makes a lot of sense, since he would always express his views on things and say genuinely amusing things, just like how we as players find him to be good company and a good laugh on Transit. Considering he shows emotions and
Victis, Ted is the best thing to happen to Victis. My hands are up. I'm
was in
speaking
fact
full facts.
programmed that way by Broken Arrow. It might not have
Thanks for
worked
the
out
prize.
the way they were expecting, with Ted seemingly showing too much emotion, coming to the point where he would openly express his views on things, talk back to people, and clearly this guy just became too much of a menace. And so that made him not cut out to be a public service worker like a bus driver. So that's why they decided to make a similar prototype to be entertaining. And although this isn't confirmed, it sure as hell seems to be the case. And this is a really fun theory.
I'm
that
so
I think
glad
adds
that
a
Ted
lot
is
of
getting
light
the
onto
spotlight he
Ted as
deserves.
I can't
I'm
believe
so
saying
glad.
this. Actual side character in Zombies.
Yes!
Takeo's severed hands. When playing
Wait,
the
what?
Eisendrache, when you're in spawn, there's
Oh, yeah, this is the strangest Easter egg ever. One of the chat if y'all knew about
a
this.
creepy little detail that involves a pair of hands that have been cut or
So,
torn off,
and it's real human hands. They're not zombie hands.
gripping onto the railing as if someone was holding on, and then they were detached, and then assuming the person fell down.
It's on
handless.
DE. You can
if
literally
you
go
look
and check
closely
it
at
out.
the hands, you might notice the wraps around them. And then if you cast your mind back to Primus Takao in any of the COD games, you'll notice that these hands look identical to the ones on the railing.
And also, it looks like his arm is about to fall off on the exact area that it got hit. But I guess this is from like a multiple dimensions? Is that what it's explaining?
Which
I don't
then
know.
leads to some disturbing implications. The hands gripping onto the railings seem to be the remains of a version of Primus Takao
Yeah,
that may
that's
have
what I
kicked
thought.
the bucket in a different cycle.
Yeah, it's
With this
very
Takao
scary.
meeting a bitter end, whether that be from zombies or someone else. Either the zombies
Yeah.
were munching at this guy's wrists, or it could be a result.
Yeah, like, how do you die like that? I don't even know.
If
How?
we think about the
How do you
Primus music
explain
videos
that?
where we've seen them kill each other before, or they at least imply it sometimes, where they do certain shots in a way that might lead you down to thinking that
Yeah,
maybe
this was
they
very
betrayed
common
each
in the
other
music
for
videos.
some reason, and
Yeah,
ended up
the
killing one
betrayal.
another because the cycle might have just turned their brains to scrambled eggs, or there was some
Imagine dying to the skull of Non-Sapwa. That would suck. Look at my boy Dempsey ready to take down Nikolai.
kind of
him.
disagreement big enough that they decided
Look
to
at
be
him.
hostile. Either way, it's an interesting lens
like,
to view
"Bro, I'm
some of those
about to
videos
end your
with,"
whole
and if we
career.
apply that kind of thing here, I don't know why, but it just seems very possible that maybe Takao was holding onto the railing, he maybe fell somehow, or might have been
Yeah,
having
one
a
of the
scrap with
strangest
Primus,
things
and one
ever.
of them could have easily cut his hands clean off. There's a lot of possibilities up in the air for this one, so
What if he cut his own hands off? Wait, how do you do that? How do you cut your... That doesn't even make sense. I
I
don't even
encourage you
know.
to make your own theory as to why these
How do you cut... If you cut one arm, how do you cut the other one? You-
hands are
You
here,
can't
and
do
more
that.
specifically,
The
why
mouth?
the Takao is
So you're telling me he's Zorro now? Oh, I don't
and
know.
whatever
bro.
happened to him, it looks like he didn't get the helping hand he needed.
Oh... This guy...
Okay,
I don't
I'm
get
sorry about that one. Okay, let's move on before this gets out of hand. I'm actually done.
Okay, dude.
Mob of the Dead real-life events. In one
Wait,
of the
wh-
icebergs, we
oh,
covered
yeah,
Mob
yeah.
of the Dead's
I think I know
real-life
this.
location, Alcatraz prison, and how accurate Treyarch actually were when they recreated this prison in Black Ops 2. But there was also a real-life escape attempt that is about as crazy as what we see in Mob of the Dead.
They made a movie on it, too.
Well, I mean, minus the
Clint
flesh-eating
Eastwood, I think, is in it.
corpses. And these real-life events seem to be what the characters and plot, if you will, for the map is based on. So, Alcatraz is a separate island chilling in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Chilling not because it's relaxed here, but because of the water that's
No, because it's literally isolated.
freezing cold. It's basically impossible to escape this rock. If you were to try and swim or you fell in the water, you'd have a good chance of freezing to death. And whilst Alcatraz was a functional prison, there were
crazy.
4 inmates in the 60s by the names of John and Clarence Anglin, which were brothers, Alan West and Frank Morris. They decided they wanted out, and for
They
a
looked the
whole
exact
year,
same.
they would be collecting various items to help aid them in their escape, such as toilet paper, spoons, soap, and hair, along with other things, for a plan they were devising.
Hair is disgusting.
When I read that out, I can't help but think of the Escapists game. A year passed, and it was the late night of June 11th,
That's funny.
1962, going into the early morning of June 12th. The inmates had been digging tunnels in their
They've been
cells for
digging.
a while up to this point, with
I've
those
been digging,
spoons to make
brother.
their way out. As for the hair, glue, and toilet paper, this was geniusly used to make paper mache heads that
Yeah,
resembled
that
themselves.
that's some 100 IQ level
to
stuff.
put in their cell beds.
That's
and these
so
would act
smart.
as decoys at nighttime to bamboozle the prison guards when they would do a nighttime patrol, making
That's
them
so
think
smart.
that the prisoners
So
were
smart.
sound asleep in their beds. The inmates then began their escape, with everything in place. The Anglin brothers managed to get through their tunnels, and so did Frank Morris. Alan West wasn't so lucky.
No,
There was a
Alan
very
West!
terribly placed metal bar within the walls, blocking his way out on the other side. So he had to stay behind, which really sucked for him. To be honest, that is some terrible RNG. The other
That's bad RNG, man. Bad
three
RNG.
got through and managed to get to the roof by venting. Yes, they were actually imposters,
No.
so they could do this. They then scaled
No,
down the walls
dude.
to the shore, which is where they assembled and boarded an improvised raft made out of raincoats and contact cement. At this point, it was about
guys played
10
raft
PM
before
when they
everybody
finished
else did,
putting
bro.
it together, and with no time to waste before the guards would come looking for them, they took to the chilling waters. They
Wind
were at
Waker!
this all
My
night,
boy!
So when it came to the next day, the guards were kinda sus, thinking at first they'd been decapitated because of the papier-mâché heads, until they realised what was actually happening. Only a few of their personal possessions have ever been found, along with parts of the raft they built. But as for whether they actually managed to escape successfully,
Y'all think they escaped or they didn't? I'm gonna be honest. If they're from Mob of the Dead, they got out of there. They got out of there,
or died
bro.
trying,
They got out of there. They got out.
remains a mystery.
That
So
water was
first
so
off, I'm
cold.
sure you can
But they would have found the bodies, right? In the water?
already see how similar
I
the
don't
two
know.
stories are from real-life Alcatraz and the one that we see in Mob, but I'm gonna list some similarities I've noticed here. First off, there were 4 inmates, with one being called Alan, sharing the same name as
The water is shark infested? Just walk. You know my boy Jesus.
Al Arlington, aka Weasel.
He did
The
it.
inmates wanted to escape and made a really clever and crafty plan to do so, involving an improvised raft made of things from the prison, much like the plane in Mob of the Dead, which was also this slapped together, improvised mode of transport off of the island. With
Like, how do you make that plane without a guard noticing? Somebody's got to
both
set
of
me
these
up with
being a
that.
completely insane idea. Next,
Yeah.
the fact that Alan and Al from both stories did not escape the prison, which
And
clearly
they
shows
share
the divide
same-
between
the
the
same
gangsters
name,
in Mob of
literally.
the Dead from Weasel,
Ow.
which were Billy, Sal, and Finn, which has got to be where the whole betrayal angle comes in from the game. In the real life events, Alan was stuck and left behind. I also think the spork Easter egg is definitely a reference to the spoons that inmates use
Oh,
to dig their way
true,
out. When you're in
true.
afterlife mode in Mob of the Dead, you literally have to shock a spoon that is found in a tunnel. And for the
Yeah.
final similarity, there's the mystery behind it. No one knows what really happened to the real life inmates that escaped Alcatraz. Much like how for a while, it was up to speculation for whether or not Weasel was killed and the inmates were stuck in the cruel cycle at Alcatraz, or if Weasel managed to 1v3 them and break the cycle.
See, this is what I miss with zombies, like them tying real life lore into their maps. Right? You don't get that type of storytelling anymore. That was the coolest part about Doris and Mob of the Dead and even Shadows, too.
Similarities are definitely there,
I
and
love
it's
that.
safe to say this has to be what the
Yeah,
characters
Ray
and story
Liotta,
of the
bro.
map took inspiration from. Quick revive location swap. Whilst on the glorious main menu of Black Ops 1,
is
you can
this?
see on the TVs when on the zombies section footage of a variety of things ranging from zombies roaming the Pentagon to live action footage of the outbreak, which is such a cool detail.
That
But
is
one
really
thing that is
cool.
hidden in plain sight though is a camera
Oh, what the heck? Yeah, Quick Revive's not supposed to be there. What the heck is
shot
that
of
about?
5 looking down one of the halls. Everything looks relatively normal
Bloody?
until you take a look
I've
at
never
the quick
seen this
revive
before.
machine just chilling there. This might seem completely normal until you realize that's where Speed Cola is
Yeah,
supposed
it's
to
where
be.
Speed
And
Cola's
I've
supposed to
never
be.
heard
Huh.
anyone mention this. If you go onto 5 and open one of the spawn rooms, you can see right there, clear
Wow.
as day, Speed Cola is supposed to
Well,
be.
they do it all the
and yet for
time.
some
They
reason on
change
this
things all the
footage,
time.
it's
I'm
Quick
not sure-
Revive
I'm
there
not surprised.
instead. I've never heard anyone mention this, yet it's right there in plain
Yeah,
sight.
I've
I have
never
no
seen
idea
that,
why the
ever.
location is swapped
That's
just
crazy.
for this. And the more I think about it, the less sense it really makes.
Yeah, it
the
really
only
doesn't.
explanation I've got right now is that maybe Treyarch would
They probably just ran out of an area to put Speed Cola in. Because keep in mind, this map also has Mule Kick, right? And so they had to figure out a way to do that. But I don't know.
Just messing around with
know?
5 maps design, and probably swapped the locations of Quick Revive and Speed Cola. Then they recorded this footage to use for the main menu, and then flipped them back around for whatever reason.
Or
as they wanted that
production,
to be
you
part
know,
of the
who
final
knows how
product
production
of the map
goes, man.
5.
It's always
an
crunch.
odd little inconsistency. Zombie intelligence.
Zombie
Usually zombies run
intelligence?
straight towards you like you just open a pack of chewing gum in class, but for whatever reason in Black Ops 1, the zombies in Ascension could straight up lean to the side or even pull off a whole tactical roll right before your very eyes.
I love seeing that. Also, World War II zombies, I'll never forget the devs telling us that the zombies spoke English. They spoke their own language and that we were supposed to figure it out. I don't know if anybody actually ever did that.
Then again, we've seen
to
them
be quite
breaking it
honest.
down, popping and locking into the warfare, so I can't
Let's
be too
go!
surprised. What's interesting though is that the zombies do that tactical roll to dodge the player's shots, and are seen wearing a military uniform, implying that they still retain some kind of muscle memory or instinct to
Yeah,
avoid
the attention
danger
to
from
detail
the
back in
training
the
that
day
they
was
had.
insane,
Call of the Dead
man.
round 100. Call of the Dead round 100, huh? Well, I'm sure
No.
someone's done that, but it's impossible. Yeah, as of right now,
Nobody
it's
can.
completely unreachable. But why is it? Well, this is similar to those game resets
It will never be reachable on solo. Nobody will ever get it.
I covered earlier, which is
So,
why I said that
that's
they would
crazy.
come back later. And this is some more technical boogaloo here, but to quote Oxygen for the win again,
Got
which
the
I also
reset
mentioned
time.
earlier on the game
Yep.
resets entry, he sent code
Has anyone done
Peter this
500?
message
People have gotten to round... People have gone to a higher round on 5 than on Kino or Toten. That's the
explaining the whole
craziest
thing
thing.
better than
I don't
could.
even get that.
Quote, to understand why 100 is not possible, one must first understand how high rounds
And
are
it's like
played.
245
Essentially, it
or
is a
something.
balancing
It's
game
insane.
between two factors, reset times and box hits. Reset time is a variable and can be slightly changed based on factors and actions within the game. However, it will not change
Call of Dead
substantially
resets
on
at
Call of the
77
Dead and will
hours.
likely
Yeah, we know
occur at
that.
around 77 hours. End quote.
Yep.
So to summarize here, it's
Thank you, Luna.
impossible to reach round 100 because of how long it will take to do on the map itself,
Exactly.
resulting in a reset. The highest that is physically possible so far seems to be 94, and this is with everything that is currently known right now.
And we have not gotten there. That's a perfect run. 92 is the world record right now.
When it comes to resets, box hits, and everything in between.
Yeah.
And that theory comes from Zobinator, who is a prominent zombies player with lots of knowledge about this
Yeah.
kind of thing, much like Oxygen for the win. So close yet so far.
You'll
Question
never
is
get
here,
it,
do you
though.
think that as research develops with this knowledge, that one day Call of the Dead round
No.
100 would be
No.
reachable?
No, it's just because of the reset timer. The reset timer will never let anybody go. Unless we find a new trap on the map, which there isn't, or a new wonder weapon with infinite damage, which there isn't. It's no shot.
Player lobbies. Oh man.
8-player
What a blast from
lobbies!
past.
The greatest
Back when
glitch
Black Ops 2
ever on
came out,
BO2.
People found
Oh, I
out one
love
of the
this.
best glitches
Oh, I
in
love
a game
this.
ever,
Yeah.
if we're being honest. This glitch
One in chat, if you ever did this 8-player glitch on Town, you could do it on all these other different versions. I don't know why 8-player lobbies never came back since BO2. They really needed to come back for BO3, for BO4. You could have bots on BO4, but not 8 players. Crazy, bro.
involved being able to play
Who the F had 8 friends? Bro, back in the day on Xbox, bro, I had tons of people playing BO2.
a Black Ops 2 zombies
crazy.
with double the players in a
So
lobby,
much
going
fun,
from the usual
too.
4
It'd
to
take
a
you
whopping
forever to get
8
to round 10,
players.
though.
If you thought Transit was fun when you have 4 people, imagine
Oh, so
8.
much fun
I really
with
couldn't
8.
tell you the
I loved it.
technicalities of why this
I
ever
loved it.
happened, but from what I've researched,
Because Grief had 8 players. So
it seems
that's
like
why.
you needed a lag switch, split
Yeah.
screen access, and then a bit of time to tinker around with
You literally needed a lag switch to do it
it.
back in
And
the
for
day.
those
I'll
that
never
don't know what a
forget
lag switch
downloading
is,
one
it's
back in
something
the
you
day.
can attach to an Ethernet cable, and it gives you a
Yeah.
really weird superpower where you can choose whether or not to lag a game at a certain point and disrupt the communication from the servers of the game you're playing. And yes, this is
Whoever figured that out is genuinely a genius. I
considered
don't know
cheating.
how. It
Once
was
you've
one of the
done all
wildest
steps,
glitches
you'd
ever.
be tricking the game into thinking that
Yeah,
it's
it was
allowed more
genius
players, but
IQ.
this only worked on the map Transit. And
Yeah.
tragically, it was patched. But in all honesty, Transit was
Yeah.
the perfect map for
They really should not have patched this, in my
8
opinion.
players. It
They
turned
should
the
have
bus
kept this
into
in.
a party bus.
Let's
And I
go,
wish I was
man!
able to pull this off. I remember me and my friends
I
wanted
remember
to do
doing
this
it.
years back.
I did it. I remember playing 2 games of 8-player Transit. It was so much fun.
back in the
And now it's
Xbox
on
360
Plutonium.
days, but
Yep.
that was when it got patched all of a sudden. I really wish this
It
could
was
have
so much
stayed
fun
because
back
it
in the
gave
day.
Transit an actual great purpose.
It was
but
so
the good
fun.
news is you can have 8 players on Plutonium, which
Yes,
is a
sir.
modded Black Ops 2 and other
Thank you,
COD
Jay
games.
Kobe
So if that piques
and
your interest,
ID
then
for
go
Prime.
check out Plutonium. Zombie Richtofen in iOS.
Wait,
on the
really?
classic World at War iOS app that is sadly no longer available now. If you were to go into the tutorial and head over to the barrier with
Wait,
the bars
what?
next to it, you'll
Richtofen's
see
talking.
an off-looking Richtofen on the other side.
Wait,
that's down.
what?
His skin looks pale and he has bloodstains on him, telling you there isn't much time left and teaches you how to defend yourself. The last thing he tells you is to use your knife on the zombies if they end up getting close to you, before he turns
I've never seen
into
this.
Zombie Richtofen with his
What?
beaming yellow eyes, much like the one we've seen skulking around.
Whoa, that's cool. This is in Rabbit Suit video? I've never seen this before. iOS is always crazy to me.
Around in the story here and there before.
Whoa.
After killing him, the tutorial ends with a kind of ominous message. You're on your own, soldier. Okay, let's get the elephant in the room. This
Okay,
probably
dude.
isn't the same Zombie Richtofen or
Okay,
anything.
buddy.
But I guess if anyone needed
That's
an explanation
crazy.
for it, other than it
I've
being
never
just
seen
for the
that.
sake of the tutorial, it's either the Marine didn't kill Zombie Richtofen properly, or this is a different cycle/universe. SOS signs. On the classic World
Yeah.
at War map Derice, there's a
Derice,
very
yep.
hidden detail that you could only possibly notice if you no-clipped and looked at the map from
I also believe it's on Die Rise, but I could be
a
wrong.
bird's eye view. On 2 of the roofs of the Derice facility, you can find these improvised messages made out of sandbags with one
Who
of
be
them
writing
spelling
like that, bro?
SOS, and the other one opposite it where speed color is saying help. This didn't need to be in the map at all since 99% of people would
That is true. Nobody will ever see this.
never
practically,
notice them,
you know?
but it's a gritty secret that I'm glad is there, and only makes me wonder what other things like this are lurking out there. Alternate
Exactly.
perk designs. During the development of Shinonuma, Treyarch wanted to switch up the design of the new perk machines Juggernog, Double Tap, Quick Revive,
Really?
and Speed Cola for the eerie swamp map. Considering the setting
I
being
did
as
not know
murky
this.
and swampy as it is, the devs originally designed the perk machines to have a more worn and overgrown look to them.
Oh, I do remember this. I don't know why they didn't go through with this. That would have been really cool.
When I look at these,
As soon as I saw it, I instantly knew.
I immediately think they are so fitting for the map. And
Yeah,
honestly,
I don't know why
kinda
they
wish
took them
went
out.
with it. However, they didn't make the final cut of the map due to
That's too
Treyarch
bad.
wanting the perks to feel more magical with the lack of leaves and swampy slime on them, adding to that effect, making them feel more out of place compared to everything else on the map.
It's wild that it took until Black Ops Cold War for these machines to get a redesign. That's insane to me as well.
And in turn, making them stand out more.
That's
Secret Black Ops 2
crazy.
weapons nerf. BO2's weapons were so good, and granted, some of them aren't viable in any way. Looking at you, SMR.
Shout out to my boy.
All things considered, though, there was plenty to love. One day, though,
Really well.
without it ever being mentioned by Treyarch, they randomly nerfed a bunch of weapons in Zombies for
Yeah.
practically
For
no
no
reason,
reason.
at all. Or at least
Nobody
they didn't
asked.
give one.
They
Two of
didn't
them
give
I
it a
remember
reason, yeah.
strongly noticing were the hammer dealing less damage and having way more recoil
Way
than it
more
ever used
recoil,
to, and
yeah.
the MTAR's recoil being upped to the point where I'm
And the Type 25 recoil. It's
bending
so
backwards
bad.
at a 90-degree angle after shooting it. It seems the
Legit.
box weapons
It's
specifically
so
were
bad.
targeted, and it happened around the time of DLC 1 releasing, which was Die Rise. Turns out, though,
Die Rise just adding L's.
these actually happened.
Not
in
on my
Minecraft, so
Die
it
Rise.
wasn't just
Not on
one
my
specific
version.
thing for zombies. It was
Come on
actually
now.
a universal thing across the whole game. But with zombies being a PvE mode and not having as fast time to kill as something like multiplayer, it felt really noticeable because
was
you would be shooting at the
so
zombies
bad.
longer to
It
game
was
end them,
so
and you would
bad.
also be noticing that the guns
I still think it's the worst nerf and change Treyarch has ever done.
aren't doing
I
the
really
same
agree.
amount of
It's
damage once
terrible.
the zombies' health starts increasing.
still
So if you
noticeable
ever
every
thought that
time I
some
go
of the
back.
weapons in BO2, multiplayer or zombies, ever fell off the last time you played it, now you know why.
Nerfing zombies' weapons is truly an L behavior. Every game that they've nerfed stuff in, it's terrible. 50-50 perk. Oh, we're at the bottom already, bro. Zombified player? I don't even know what these
Maxis
are.
always
Maxis,
dies.
I don't even
In
know what
every
these
single outcome we've seen for the cycle of COD zombies, for whatever reason, Maxis will always wind up not living through the events.
are. Maxis, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, has to be one of the most boring, unhyped up characters ever. They were talking about this game for 3 games and we didn't even get to play as him. We just died. Or he just died in Alpha Omega. What an L character, man, for real.
He either dies or is not mortal in his normal state of being. Instead, he
So
might be in
bad.
a little flying robot. And sure, him and Sophia
And yeah, he's in the
reunited at
Maxis.
end of
I
Revelations,
despise
and whilst
what
it
they
was
did with
a
Maxis,
sweet
though.
moment, it's quite depressing that Maxis always got dunked on pretty
He
hard.
always got bullied.
Betrayed, having his soul
Why?
destroyed, eaten alive, shot, 115 exposure. It's
Boo,
safe to say Maxis is
boo,
one unlucky guy that no matter what timeline he's in, could never catch a break. At this point, it seems like Maxis is supposed to die.
The fact that we did not get a playable version for the Great War is an L. I think you should have played as Maxis and Richtofen and Nikolai and Dempsey, I guess. Or somebody else.
Death
for
is crucial to
Great
getting
War
the
map.
good ending for the universe. Clearly an integral step for setting things in motion to get where we got to in Black Ops 4. Drew Marlowe Easter egg. When you're playing Der Eisendrache, a really obscure Easter egg can be done that clearly wasn't
this is the
supposed to be
Treyarch
found
dev.
and was instead
This is Treyarch
something
devs.
obviously
The heart
supposed to
one.
be known between
Yeah, this
devs
one
at
was
Treyarch.
wild.
But I wouldn't be talking about it now if it wasn't found. This has to be done at the beginning of a match, and this Easter egg involves
I tried doing this Easter egg, y'all. I don't know how it's even made.
letting
to
the
be
zombies
honest.
tear down all boards at the barriers and then
So
rebuilding
weird.
2 boards
So
specifically
weird.
on each barrier. Then buying the RK5, putting 2 more boards on each window, buying the Shiva off the wall, then putting 1 more board on each window. And when you've done that, you need to quickly buy the RK5 and sprint to the door, the one that's nearest to the gondola, and open it. Once you've gone through the door, if you look to your right, and this is only if it's done correctly, you'll see a
I feel so bad for this dev because he never wanted this to be found. And now that it's found, I feel like it must be cringe. How did they find this? Game files, of course. This was found by data mining. That's something I know for sure.
giant heart spinning
But
around
it's so
with a wholesome
funny.
picture
Look
of a
at this
man with his
kid in
wife
there
and child.
too.
The guy in the photo is called Drew Marlowe, and he's actually a developer at Treyarch, and so
Yeah.
he did this with the intention.
Well, if there's one zombies map to have your family photo on, DE is a good pick.
That no one would find
DE
it. I have
is
no
a
idea if
good
he's still
pick.
working there, but whatever's going on, I hope he's doing well. 50-50
real.
perk. This one was an
50-50.
interesting little rabbit hole to go down. And when I say go down, I mean get my feet in, and that's about it. And that's because there's not a lot
That's
to really
about it.
find about the elusive 50-50
Thank you,
perk,
Voodoo
making this
Dylan.
a pretty obscure topic, especially when you consider that there just aren't many things about this on the internet. There's a poster that was some sort of concept art for Shadows of Evil, and there was a billboard, and on that billboard it had perks on it. One perk was Double Tap 1.0, and then there's the strange 50-50 perk bottle, Juggernog, and then there's this other one that's hard to make out, and it might even just be a blank bottle. And this little perk bottle led people to theorizing what the effects of the
Lads, what do you guys think a 50-50 perk would do? I have no idea.
50-50 perk could be. Saying things
I have no
like,
clue.
maybe it makes the zombies' health go down by 50%, or maybe the perk reduces the cost of things.
This idea of a perk reminds me of something that I used to play back in MapleStory, where you'd have a skill in the game called Shadow Partner, and it would basically be your shadow coming out and doing double damage on what you'd be doing. So, and I guess that would kind of make sense for 50-50, right? 50% shadow, 50% you. Does it say 50-55? No, it's definitely 50-50.
and other stuff like that. And what makes this more obscure is that this was
50%
on
chance of
Treyarch's
ending the
website,
game?
and from what people have said,
Oh, 50-50 chance of not consuming ammo? Dude, that would be so OP.
it managed to stick there for about
That
2
would be
minutes
so
before
OP.
being swiftly removed. This is the only time we've ever seen the 50-50 perk, and it
Yeah, I
never
don't
made
know.
it into the final game of Black Ops 3.
I don't know if anyone's ever asked Treyarch about that either. I have no idea.
Sentient mannequins.
Oh,
Alpha
bro.
Omega, whether you love it or hate it,
No!
there's a really subtle layer of depth to it that many people
Boo!
probably won't notice. Considering the map is set in Nuketown, it's no surprise that the area is littered with creepy
Sentient Nuketown, get it away from me. AI in Nuketown, what a terrible combination.
mannequins. Which they alone are enough to want to nope the hell out of there, but the ones in Alpha Omega are different. Upon taking a closer look at them, you'll quickly pick up
Mid.
that they're robotic in some way, by the visible damage on them, revealing cybernetics under their skin, and they even spark when you
What
shoot
a
the heads off
terrible
of them.
map.
The one thing that does seem consistent about
They
them
will
is
look
that
at
they
you
don't
sometimes.
move. or so it would seem.
Sometimes
if you
they
pay
do.
attention to certain mannequins in a match, they will start to turn their heads towards the player whilst they aren't looking, almost like they don't want to be caught. For whatever reason,
That's what Treyarch spent all their time on for Alpha Omega, right there.
these mannequins seem to want to keep tabs on you as often as possible and are fully aware of your presence
This man just did a full 180. Look at his head.
in Camp Edward. Peter McCain attacking you. Shinonuma is home to our favorites.
I think this is a glitch. This is a glitch because the idea is that, okay, back in Black Ops 1, y'all remember the hack that Deji showed me, right? Where you jump on top of another person and instantly kills them? I think this is what you're seeing with the Peter McCain body. I don't think this has anything to do with the lore. It's just a
Swinging
glitch.
lad, Peter McCain, who just
Yeah, it's
hangs
all a
around the
glitch.
map. COD players, being the respectful Samaritans they are, decide to throw grenades at him, making him ragdoll around looking like something the Nazis would have used as a
Respectful
piñata.
Samaritans.
As funny as this thing is, it can end up downing you. What seems to happen is if enough ragdoll physics are going on and Peter's swinging gets a little too wild, then he'll drop off the rope, falling on top of you, which then
He has to hit the ledge next
instantly
to it, which is
downs
what
you.
gets his feet caught. Yeah, so watch. His feet will hit the wood part here, and he'll fall down. So yeah, he gets caught, and then it falls down. It's just the game breaking. And so it's the Keynote or Toten hack, literally, but you're doing it with a dead man. I don't even know how that makes sense, but
this
it does
kind of
make
thing
sense.
is another example of you've either heard of it off of a friend or you fooled around and found out. Impossible Easter
that's
egg.
correct.
Jason Blundell has stated that there is an impossible
We still don't
Easter
know.
egg within BO3 Zombies and implies that this is in Shadows of Evil. He basically said that the community are too good at solving ciphers. So his solution to this is to put in a cipher that is going to be astronomically difficult to solve.
Basically, no one will ever figure it out.
In an interview with Mr. Dollar JD, he mentioned it can't be found within game files or anything. Clearly this has to be done with some real elbow grease and the community need to go full detective mode. Jason also stated that he was
It's most likely going to be nothing as well.
going to put that information away until 8 years time, when he would then start talking about this more or maybe even review.
I wonder if he said 8 years time to basically think that he might have been at Treyarch for all those 8 years, because when I was talking to him, this man sounded like he had like 3 to 5 games planned after Black Ops 4. And it would have continued Chaos, it would have continued Ether, but this man just got cut short with BO4. So
Feel it.
I wonder. And now it's been 8 years too, right? So will Blundell even remember? This man is not even working at Deviation Games anymore, let alone Treyarch. He's not even working at his own dang studio.
Assumptions I make when
So
we
you
talk
tell
about,
me, man.
Big Easter eggs or things that are kind of hidden and other stuff that's going on. I assume that everyone is going to take the code, take the Radiant, and take it apart. Which means anything that we could put in script, and anything I could put in with Radiant, I'm assuming you could just open it
They got their feet pretty close together.
and find it.
You love Deviation? Yep,
Like
you
it's
did.
Engineered.
So
You probably are.
I honestly don't think we will get an answer to this, because I believe only Blundell knew about it, and now this man's probably just forgotten.
Because
So
you'd have already found that by now. I think I may be talking about this in about another 8 years' time.
no, you won't. no, you won't.
Wow. The official statement.
That's cap. Cap.
You can ask
Cap.
me. I'm going to put that away in a vault and talk to you again about it
No, you won't. Cap.
in 8 years' time.
But considering he's sadly not a part of the Treyarch team anymore or Deviation Games, and with no social media accounts, he's basically incognito as it stands right now. Glitching Queen is actually working on this with a team right now.
I really hope that she finds it, but to be honest, I don't think it was something that was ever supposed to be found. To be quite
And there's
honest.
some leads coming up here and there, but this hidden, impossible Easter egg cipher seems so hard to even find right now. And as it stands at the moment, we might not get answers for the foreseeable future. Victis ride a pirate ship. So as far as
Oh, okay, this is wild, bro.
obscure goes,
I know what this
one
is.
up there. It just
Yeah,
doesn't
this
sound
is so
right
wild.
or real when I say that, which is pretty fitting for the bottom of an iceberg. Iceberg. Black Ops 2 Zombie.
It's a portion in the Die Rise cutscene where they show the Victis crew on a pirate ship.
This has
it's
a
so
lot of
cool.
cut content, but I never really see this one mentioned enough though, despite it being absolutely wild. There was some leaked art from the Green Run crew that sees them on a...
Yeah, literally this. And if you guys also know, this is a cover art of the very first song that I ever did with Josh A. That's what makes this so cool as well for me, because Josh A and I, this image was the way we collaborated together. And this was his first official art cover. And I think you can still find it on his channel. The song is called Josh A Transit.
Pirate ship.
So,
you can see them shooting zombies surrounding the sails that they're on top of. This may have been a map teaser, but this is highly likely to be a cut scene from the Buried intro.
Definitely a cutscene. Oh, it's from Buried.
Point in it, it shows how Victis have traveled around to survive and push closer to their goals of appeasing Maxis or Richtofen in the broken world. Which, by the way, if Treyarch ever wanted to do more comics about Victis, I think that showing where the group traveled would be so dope. So,
yeah, like the freaking Egypt pyramids. But nah, bro, we gotta do a whole other storyline, bro.
Seeing this shows
we gotta
that
do
the player
chaos.
must have either traveled overseas or had to climb on top of a beached one in order to stay out of reach from the unforgiving zombies and, you know, not die. The best quality image I could get out of this, as well as see more of the buried art, is on this website here, with art that
I'm not showing you guys the URL. I'm not showing you guys the URL. I don't trust y'all.
Slightly different and some that was actually used for Black Ops 2.
I don't trust y'all, bro.
Pack-a-punching in Kino is an interesting experience, as it can teleport you to a few locations to get a film reel, which when played in the projector at Pack-a-punch, it can give some nice lore about the map, with those places being a dentist office, a conference room from 5, and 2 versions of Samantha's room. When you're in the dentist office, you have access for a short amount of time to walk around the room, look around and grab a reel if it's there. But there's a secret layer of horror added to this place that will make you
This is basically just the BL1 menu in Kino, which
feel
I thought
uneasy
is really cool.
every time you go there from now on, once you know about what lurks there. If you no-clip past an area of the dentist room you can't even get to, you'll find a chair surrounded by curtains. And if you go and look behind them, you'll see a bloody chair with a decapitated head next to it. This is some disturbing stuff, and this definitely got an eyebrow raise from
Kino has secrets like this? No way.
me when I found it, considering it's not even supposed to be an accessible area, which I've got to say, it makes this even spookier. Zombified.
Huh. I wonder if that's a part of like the zombie Richtofen lore.
Player. Alpha Omega has a really odd jump scare where if you go to the green house on the map.
Oh yeah, this is just Treyarch screwing around.
With a sniper and look out into the distance, you'll get a jump scare image of what looks to be Cornelius Pennell as he was transforming into the Avogadro. Now the jump scare itself is cool and all, but the real meat and potatoes here is the figure that you're actually looking at. If you concentrate hard enough, you'll see a zombified version of the character you're playing.
And yeah, I've seen someone go into no-clip right up against it, and it's literally just Ultimus Richtofen in the zombie model.
As in that given match. It's really weird that it's like this.
John's got
Why is there a zombified version of the player? I don't know why this is here, or at least why it's a zombie version of Dempsey, Takao, Nikolai, or Richtofen. It's not like you'd be able to
it's specific to whoever you're playing. That's interesting.
tell unless you spend way longer than you need to staring at it. And I mean even after the jump scare. Is there a lore reason for this, or is it just to screw with us?
Treyarch
Could have put any old zombie model there, but for whatever reason, they didn't do that.
They probably just found it the easiest way. Wait, Groph Rebel? What is this?
Groph
I don't know any of
textures. Not much is known about this entry, as the only credibility it really has that I've managed to find is this single Reddit comment. It states that Dr. Groph's textures from Der Eisendrache are in the 1.16 update of Black Ops 3 in Revelations, yet they haven't been used since he can't be seen anywhere in the map. I've looked everywhere for this, but it seems like this one is quite the mystery. It can only make you...
They always port over old stuff, so I'm I'm not that shocked
wonder
about it.
what
I'm not
Treyarch
that
were planning
shocked.
to do with this, if anything at all. Maybe there was
Yeah.
some greater
They
purpose he was
always do
supposed
that,
to
though.
serve, and was instead meant to
Dr.
be
Groph
alive
is
and
in
well for
DE, and he has Groph modules in Garage, but nothing in Rev.
Easter egg within Revelations.
Yeah.
Or maybe his textures were accidentally dumped into the Revelation files. At this point with Treyarch, I really can't tell if stuff like this is a troll or if it's an accident,
No,
because they're
it's
so
definitely an
good at
accident.
doing it. They're out
Yeah.
here getting the world record of melting the most brains. Definitely a strange one, so
For real, though, what other gaming company other than Treyarch has made these many mind-blowing gaming decisions? Who knows?
if you have anything to add, please let me know in the comments. New route found. Transit has an unused quote from Ted in the game files that seems to heavily imply that there is actually, in fact, a bus route B. Here's the line that was cut from the game.
New route learned. Cross-referencing mapping software. Automatic route guidance still in effect.
It seems as though with
That's insane that Bus Route B was gonna be in the game.
the
That's
huge map size both
crazy.
in and out of
That's
bounds in transit,
crazy,
as well as
dude.
the sandbox type of gameplay it has, and was trying so hard
The upgraded jet gun file is also in Transit as well.
to get,
But
it's clear that
unused.
some kind of Easter egg could have been done that might have triggered this voice line from Ted, which would then
Wow.
unlock a new area of
Wow,
transit to play
man,
around
that's
in, and I'd go a
crazy.
stretch further to say that there could have been other cut content that they might have wanted to have
tons
added
in
in
transit,
that area.
man.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Zielinski was an ambitious guy, and this is totally up
guy.
his alley. It's a revelation that this is a scrapped voice line that's been unearthed, but not in the least bit shocking. This was most likely a piece in a bigger puzzle to the elusive
A piece of all the unreleased content that we'll never get.
Bus Route
unfortunately.
B. Solo Moon Ambience Anxiety. Moon is a really fun map, for
Yes,
the
Opti,
most
you still
part
streaming?
anyway.
I can
You know,
raid
when the
you.
RNG is behaving itself and it's not making you want to go to bed and never come out of it again. And it really is one of the most unique maps in all of Zombies for sure. But unlike many of the maps, Moon has a really odd feeling to it. This is similar to the Ambience Anxiety from Kino on the second Iceberg, but this
Moon BO1 feels like this, bro. There's just nothing. And you just feel like you're in a gray nothingness on BO1.
This one for Moon as well is a feeling that really resonates with me, and that is
Yeah.
why I wanted to put it on the Iceberg. For as long as I can remember, Moon has always felt odd to me, with its
yeah.
ambience being near silent and the lack of anything visually going on, especially on the outskirts of the map, implants a certain feeling in me.
You really
and it
feel like
feels
nothing.
wrong.
TR
Well,
with
it's
the gift
space.
of
Look
pure
at this.
zombie.
It's
Hey, let's go.
terrifying. But there's something that feels ominous when you're walking around the map with barely any
The BO1 version is just dull, and I get the vibe and the ambience they were going for, but it's just dull.
noise or visual
looks so
stimuli.
bad.
It feels like something's gonna jump out at you or something bad will happen. It's like walking around those empty multiplayer maps or walking around
True.
something like GM Construct, and it's a
Gary's mod, bro.
hopeless feeling on Moon where I feel trapped and I play this map and it just sinks in. It's something that
Good
Black
old
Ops 3
Construct
seems
walking,
to not be
bro.
able to replicate, and it simply doesn't have that strong of an effect on me as Black Ops 1 does. And maybe it's because Black Ops 1 is more drab, Moon is a bit more colourful on Black Ops 3, so that probably helps explain it. But when the crippling emptiness hits you with Moon's spectacular
It is scary. I do have to agree. Moon is one of the very few maps that gives you that empty feeling. of just
atmosphere and
nothingness.
ambience of the
Thank you, Goober,
nothingness
for the
and
duo,
only
bro.
a few little noises here and there, and the only real
nothing.
consistency is the
There's literally
breathing
nothing.
of the PES suit. That
Yeah.
creeping feeling of fear begins to rise.
True.
If anyone finds Moon's ambience weird, you have to tell me. I can't be on
No,
my own
I
with this.
have to agree. I have to agree. Moon is very isolated by that. We still got more? No way. The ether! We're underneath the iceberg. What is this? V-Bush! The freaking code for the BO1 computer, bro. Yeah, no, some of these are wild. Die Rise symbols? Okay, hold on. I'm updating Die Rise Remastered as we speak. What is that one about? I'm
Maxis
curious.
peanut allergy. Maybe there is another really weirdly obscure one on here, in the same vein as the Victis Rider pirate ship one. So yeah, as the entry alludes to, Dr. Maxis has been stated to canonically have a peanut allergy, according to Jason Blundell. And the only time this was ever officially mentioned wasn't even in-game. It was in this single Mr. Rothwaffle video, when he's doing an interview with the king himself during Zetsubo's release.
Shout out to Blundell, pulling things right up out of his ass. I love it.
Hello asked if Jason could tell the community anything about
I love it,
Maxis,
dude.
as he doesn't have a whole lot of character depth, or at least
so
didn't
funny.
before Revelations happened. In response, Jason said this.
I would really love if you could tell us
Milo's voice has me creasing, bro. This is hilarious.
something that we don't know about Dr. Maxis. Anything at all. Or give us something
Blundell's like, bro, I'm about to Fugazi this up all over you.
kind of...
He's allergic to peanut butter.
Is Maxis in all the universes?
The way he said that, you knew he pulled it out. You knew he pulled it out, bro. That's so funny.
Yeah?
Allergic to peanut butter.
Not in all of them, no.
It's nothing major, sure, but it's canon and really obscure. This is the only
It's canon and really obscure. Bro, this game has me dying when we're grasping for straws like that, bro.
real mention of it, and
That's so
something
funny.
Zombies players would never know if
That's
Milo
so
didn't
funny.
pop that question.
I mean,
Transit
true.
Day-night
Shout out to
cycle.
Milo.
Transit is arguably the map with the most amount of rumors, but it is objectively one of the maps of all time. And there was this really interesting thing.
A zombie's day-night cycle, just to keep in mind, is not possible even on BO3. For some reason, the way zombies is coded, you can only ever have one skybox at a time. You can't have a changing skybox. Trust me, I tried to get a day and night cycle in Die Rise. That's something I wanted to do, but we can't do it.
Thing found within the game files. There are these
not
unused
dynamic.
skyboxes,
Yeah.
and just taking a quick glance at them clearly indicates that the orange ones with the fiery skies are the daytime of the Shattered Earth, and the weirdly peaceful dark skies are the nighttime. I mean, if you look at them side by side, the difference is literally night and day. And I know that the darker ones are definitely nighttime because the moon is just sat chilling there, making this even
But the maps can have more than one skybox. That is correct.
more obvious.
That is correct.
But what's not so obvious is why. The skyboxes seem to hint towards a day-night cycle of some sort within the map. And maybe this was just for aesthetics, or maybe there was supposed to be some special dynamic mechanics depending on whether or not it was day or
Dude, if Transit had a day and night cycle, I think that would have made the map so much better. Just instantly.
nighttime.
Having things available during certain days and certain nights, that would be so cool. That's such a great mechanic to introduce in zombies. Somebody needs to do that. Dark Matter Mage with the 5, bro. Who just got dodged? Let's go. Thank you so much, man.
We covered an interesting topic
Die
about
Rise
Die
symbols.
Rise
What is
last
this about?
Iceberg. When I
What is
found
about?
this Die Rise mystery, it
Tell me about
fried
this.
my brain
I
cells.
need to know.
If you dig deep enough into the files for this map, you'll find these. These are so interesting. So what do we have here?
I've never seen this before in my whole life. What?
Some symbols that were clearly supposed to be used in the map before being decided against for whatever reason. The symbols themselves are a bunch of random...
Hides, we gotta take this and put this in Die Rise Remastered somehow. Dude, this one literally looks like the Mark of the Beast. This one looks like 6 jellyfish from the SpongeBob series. This one looks like the Golden Gate Bridge. This one looks like the candy I'm buried. This is so interesting. I've never seen this. You went through the files and I've never seen them? This is crazy. I wonder where this is.
Crude looking drawings that have a paranormal blue glow.
It probably is related due to the Die Rise flesh characters on the map, because they would eat zombies. So I guess what they were trying to say is that they were cannibalistic. So like, I guess kind of like the way these drawings are. That's interesting.
To them. And there are various things.
It looks like
which
factions.
Some are clear and some aren't. Some that I can make out is there's an eagle, an arrow, a snake, a Viking helmet, and some strange creature with one eye and claws for feet. Along with a few more that are at least recognizable. As for the rest though, they look really bizarre.
Yeah, what is that, dog?
Just having these 16 symbols all together, present in front of your eyes, probably makes you want to gouge them out, because of how little sense they make when trying to think about their purpose. The Die Rise symbols are one of the most cryptic anomalies of COD Zombies, one which
I've never seen this before. What do y'all think about this? I have no idea what these could be.
we most likely will never see an answer to. Richtofen killed the children.
No, I've never even have seen that image before in my life.
What an ominously dark yet scarily plausible and believable theory. In Der Eisendrache, if you go into Samantha's room and look on this wardrobe, which is opposite the bed, you can see this drawing that she did, which is quite strange at first, but upon further inspection, we can see a portal with a door in it, one which would be found in a house, and a man on the left with a beard and a bald head, which is clearly supposed to be Maxis, and is confirmed to be when we see a literal label above him saying Dad. I was thinking of calling him Daddy Maxis for the rest of the entry, but this one's meant to be serious, so I will treat it as such. Anyway,
the entry is Richtofen kills all.
Considering it says Dad, this means that Samantha drew it for Maxis, her father. Then in the bottom right, there's what looks to be our boy, Ultimus Richtofen, brandishing a knife towards him. And just to note, this is definitely meant to be threatening because Maxis, his face, it looks like he's melting. And back to that door, this could be, in the context of zombies, the house. We know that Maxis...
I wonder who drew that at Treyarch and was like, yeah, let's put that in the map. Let's just say it's Samantha's drawings. I know it's garbage, but...
at the house. But for now, remember this image. We'll get back to it shortly. First though, we need to look at the other piece of this puzzle. That being in some of the documents on Classified, when Ultimus are locked up in Area 51, Ultimus Richtofen asks Purnell for a list of things for his cell. And there's one thing on it that stands out here. One recording of Igor Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring. The Rite of Spring is an old Russian musical that, in short, talks about the return of spring and the renewal of Earth through, and I'm not kidding here, sacrificing innocent children, especially a girl that is deemed the chosen one. Who does that remind you of?
Whoa! Okay, I just had a crazy idea. So, I've been reading a lot in the Bible, and in the Bible, that was actually a big thing that people would worship God of Baal, Balenciaga, Baal, and they would worship him and kill children and sacrifice them to the god. So I wonder if that was literally the whole emphasis of that in Zombies. Because Zombies has a lot of biblical references. Revelations is literally a Zombies map name. Origins literally could have been called Genesis. You know? Maybe I think that's what the Great War Zombies map was going to be called. Is Genesis. That would have been a sick name.
For a recording of this in particular, it's
that's something else. And it gets that's probably the most interesting point I've seen so far.
When we put two and two together and go back to the drawing of what seems to be Richtofen 1.0 heading to the house through a portal in probably an alternate timeline or a failed cycle, killing Maxis,
it's definitely relating to the Bible,
and then going upstairs to dispose of the children in hopes of this bringing some sort of better tomorrow, with their sacrifices potentially breaking the cycle. For some extra flavor here, Richtofen 1.0 was corrupted by the Shadowman, and that might have twisted Richtofen's already twisted mind, persuading him to take the lives of the children.
Yeah, and probably we'll never know.
V-Bush. There's some images.
V-Bucks. I thought he said V-Bucks. I straight up thought he said V-Bucks, dog.
Images you can find that are hidden within the depths of the terminal in Block.
V-Bucks.
If you and get out of the chair, go up to the terminal and start typing in a string of passwords. You can open up the files of a guy named Dr. Vannevar Bush, who's from the CIA in Black Ops 1. Upon spooling through a whole bunch of terminals...
No, the V-Bush thing in BO1's terminal is really cool. It shows you images of the Zombies maps, I'm pretty sure.
You can find a set of images, with one of them being called the Kino Screen .pic, and when you access it, you see this. Not only is this image really ominous, but it seems to be hidden concept art of Kino's theater and shows how dark and gritty Kino was supposed to be.
Yeah, the original idea of Kino is horrifying, to be honest.
Granted, it was already dark and gritty, but this takes it to another level.
That makes it look horrifying.
Images, including more areas.
Yeah, these are the beta images of Kino. That's what makes it look so cool.
Even other maps like 5 and Derice, and they all have this really dark, drab, and full...
Dude, look at that. That's the Kino starting room. That's horrifying, bro. And I don't know if y'all know, but Kino is based off of a real life place, and I've seen people on TikTok or even like on YouTube go to the in real life version of Kino, And, like, this is what it actually looks like, dude. Some scary stuff, man.
Foreboding scenery to them. And the effect is doubled when you realize how hidden they are. Like, you're looking at something you're not meant to be seeing. It's like the CIA know about this and are trying to keep it as secret as possible, burying it within classified information. Out of all of the pictures, Kino screen
seriously the scariest.
That does it for me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's enough internet for today. When I stumbled upon that, I felt my gut drop a little. It was just very unexpected. And with
the BO1 intel and like the whole PC and everything, it's just done so well. They did such a good job on BO1.
How dark the theater room is and these really lanky and limp silhouettes, it just shows that zombies can actually be scary when it wants to. And it is some spine-chilling stuff. Unused mystery box music. The mystery box, when it's opened, is a really iconic piece of zombies history at this point. However, there was actually meant to be an alternate jingle for it. This short jingle never made
I don't think I've ever heard this.
it into the map Buried, which is where it was supposed to
I'm
go.
curious.
And yeah, you may have heard it before. When I said V-Bush was spine-chilling, that this one's gonna get the hair raising a little bit. And would have fit the broken, abandoned theme of Buried perfectly.
Curious.
So here it is.
It really does sound like FNAF, y'all.
Yeah, that is... yeah. Now,
Yeah, no
feel
way,
like
bro.
you've heard this before.
No
it might be
way.
because you have. And the reason is, I can't
Wait,
believe
really?
I had to read this out. This same tune can in fact be heard in 5 nights.
It's real? No! So Zombies was that close to being Five Nights at Freddy's? I thought you were capping. No way! What? So is it just like, that must be some generic sound that FNAF took and COD actually decided to make its own. That's crazy! Keep in mind though, FNAF 3 came out way later after Zombies, bro. Way later.
At Freddy's 3. No,
That's
you don't have to skip
crazy.
back. I did say that. You have probably heard
Wow.
this in Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
That's wild.
Familiar. There's an unsettling tune that plays in one of the story
That's
minigames
actually
called
insane.
Bonnie's Lullaby. And it's the same eerie piece of music. Except with Buried, it's edited a bit more. But you can definitely tell.
I think it would have fit on Buried, y'all. What do you guys think? I kind of think they would have done... I wish they would have done that. Made that the box theme on Buried. That would have been cool.
Song.
Buried is a very ominous song. Dude, this would have been the box. Whoa, dude. That's so crazy. We were that close away from being Five Nights at Freddy's. That's why everybody that plays COD Zombies likes FNAF, man. It all makes sense now. It all
What
makes
a wild
sense.
connection I never thought would ever be made.
Yeah,
Starting from
for
an
real.
unused jingle for the box in COD
That's
Zombies
something
to
else.
FNAF 3 of all things. I wish
That is
this
really
was used
cool.
in Buried, because I can just imagine the map being really empty with a
Wow.
zombie or ghost girl and you have no idea of their whereabouts. Then you spin the box and you just hear that.
Yeah, it'd be
KN-44
horrible.
significance. In Black Ops 3,
true.
there's a gun called the KN-44. I've always
Which in the beta of Black Ops 3, this is for the real homies. If you remember the KN-44 being called the ARC 7, then you're a real one.
thought of it as
You're
like
a real
more
one.
consistent and accurate AK-47, but from the future. This gun started out as just a placeholder weapon for BO3, but when it came to zombies, it held a strangely high level of significance. This weapon appears everywhere, but I don't mean it's a war weapon, so it's
Even peers and ciphers.
in every map. I mean, it's in cutscenes
It's in
and
everything.
is even
Yeah.
sometimes hidden within important places or events.
Yeah, we don't even know why.
Places and
It
events
just
that
is.
most people wouldn't be able
You
to
know?
see without analyzing certain scenarios deeper.
Maybe this KN-44 thing is tied in with the Impossible Easter egg. We don't know why.
Some examples of where we see the KN-44 are characters holding the KN-44. They do it in the main menu, and in the Zetsubo no Shima cutscene, you can see the Division...
It's like the main gun of BL3.
9 soldiers holding a KN-44. It can also be seen flying out of the Dreisendrache space pod as Dempsey crashes down from the smoke. A KN-44 just flies out and then lands in a bush, which, by the way, once it lands in that bush, you can't see it. So the only time you'll be able to see it is when it is going from point A to point B, that being from the pod to the bush.
I had no idea that was a thing. What? That's crazy.
The urn step for the void bow, if you look really closely, it is underneath it for whatever reason. You can also see it at the Zetsubo plant at Lab B. You can see it in
This is blowing my mind. What?
Takio's cell in the same map, and then Gorod Krovi. This is the weirdest one. So in the ending cutscene for Gorod Krovi, after you beat the Easter
My mind is
Nikolai
blown.
1.0
What?
is going through his sad boy moments, and then he shoots Primus Nikolai. There is a sneaky frame, one single frame, where when Nikolai draws his MR6, the MR6 changes to none other than the K.
What? What? You're lying. What? This is the what? This has to be something to do with the impossible Easter egg. There's no way they would just do that. And the KN was in the cipher too for BL3. Bro. What? That's something.
And you could not possibly notice this unless you were really paying attention or if you were going through it frame by frame. And that is the kind of point where
I've never seen that ever.
This one is an in-game, but there's also this hypercube diagram.
Exactly.
Like the inner workings of a war weapon, maybe.
This is what literally this image, once people pieced it together, people figured out what was gonna happen with the entirety of BL3. We figured out that Dreisendrache, Dempsey would be saved, then Takao with Zetsubo, then Nikolai with GK, and then Rev with Richtofen, or just saving the entire timeline. It's so wild. Like, this gun has some sort of importance within the lore that we still don't know.
And if you look closely at the spherical object that's around the KN-44, it seems like it's the summoning key. So now this adds a completely new layer of confusion.
Whoa! Oh, my brain! Look at it! Look at it! Do you see it now? Oh, my brain, dude. That's actually... I don't even get it.
And then it makes you wonder, why is the KN-44 in the summoning key? Does it mean it literally is inside of the summoning key? Or is it supposed to represent something else? I don't know what this is. It looks like just a bunch of ether boogaloo, but I don't really know. Point being, the gun that is used is the KN-44.
And that only happened in BL3. That's what makes it so interesting. Like, this gun was everywhere in BL3, and then BL4 was gone.
This gun is inescapable. It is everywhere. It wouldn't surprise me if Jason Blundell went home after a long day of trolling the community, sat down, kicked his feet up, and just has KN-44 wallpaper or something in his house. And let me tell you now, all of the things I've mentioned, these aren't even all of the times we've seen the gun. There are more instances of it randomly appearing. So, why all the weird appearances? Surely there must be a deeper meaning to all of these, right? Well,
what is the point?
Yeah, this is what Jason Blundell said when this has been mentioned before. Although, sadly, the trail seems to have gone cold. A weapon that seemed to appear feeling slightly out of place, with more to it than meets the eye, and whatever that deeper meaning is, Jason...
It's the impossible Easter egg. I'm telling y'all, chat.
Or
I'm
maybe
putting
a few
it up
others
there.
at Treyarch
It's
are
the
the only
impossible
people
Easter
that
egg.
know. There's pieces.
There's got to be something to do with
no
it.
telling what the significance of the KN-44 is. Whatever else is out there regarding
Why is it
this
so
rabbit
important,
hole,
man?
we simply don't know.
We'll never know.
Frozen Forest meaning.
We'll never know.
Have you ever wondered what the forest area is in the Black Ops 3 loading screen? The place where your character eats their beans
It's the campaign hub, literally.
over a campfire that never seems to run out. Well, the Frozen
he'd be
Forest
eaten.
is a concept
He'd
that
be
originally
eaten.
comes from the campaign in BO3. It's about to get kind of wild, so stay with me here. In the campaign, it is used for the purpose of simulating life after death. And although it may seem comforting and peaceful on the surface, it's all just a sim.
It's kind of cool because the main menu of BL3 literally foretold the entirety of the DLC before we even had it. Like, BL3 was so good, bro.
Simulation. In
So
some ways, like San
good.
Junipero from Black Mirror. But I wouldn't write the one in Zombies and the one one in the campaign off as the same thing. When
Yeah.
you start thinking about the two and comparing them, they seem different. Naturally, the frozen forest we see in Zombies is gloomier, lonelier, and has that key ethereal feeling to it that
Yeah.
Zombies is known for.
But
at
it's
this
still the
point.
same
Whereas the
idea.
other one in campaign
Still the
does
same
have
idea.
other people in it. It's brighter and just has a different atmosphere about it. In Zombies, we can see the frozen forest used, but
Also, that one tree that's not touching the ground, it
only
gets
in
me every
really
time.
particular circumstances.
Yeah.
And they are the lobby menu and a few cutscenes like the Memories trailers and Tag der Toten's ending.
Yeah.
What does the frozen forest
I
need?
didn't even realize they literally die here. Whoa. See, that proves to you that the Great War Maps was gonna come out in BO3. The way that Tog finished in the Frozen Forest area like this proves that was gonna be on BO3. It literally does. It
in
proves it.
Zombies then? Well, this is where we delve even deeper. A global marketing ARG campaign was launched for the, at the time, upcoming release of Black Ops 1. It was made to advertise it so people could figure it out and get a real feel for what the game was
Project
trying
Nova
to
6,
deliver.
man.
And it has so much cryptic stuff in that it could be its own entry.
This was one of the craziest ARGs of all time, and it was for Black Ops 1. I'll never forget Liam telling me about this. It was
Or
so
even
wild.
its own video entirely. But anyway, there's this
I did
cipher
see that mod
mentions
hypes,
the
yeah.
German word, I'm so sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Victis. And there's another one that says, oh god, how do I pronounce this? Yggdrasil. These two words are interesting for two different reasons. With the first one, Victis, translating from German to world ice. There's a strange theory called the world ice theory. It was a belief of the Nazi party, which then must be something Group 935 believed in too. Although the 935 part isn't too relevant, the fact that it was a Nazi belief and that it's being used in Black Ops 1 really is saying something. This is clearly a hint towards zombies here. The world ice theory suggests that ice is the connective thread of the whole universe, and it was responsible for the development of said universe. There is more to this, but it's not relevant for what I'm talking about. This idea runs parallel to what we see in Zombies. The ether, multiverses, and everything in between is the way it is in Zombies because of Element 115. It is the matter of the ether in Call of Duty Zombies and a visual representation of the ether, as if it's in a physical form. And then there's Yggdrasil, which you might also know in Norse mythology.
So the world ice is element 115
as
in
the
the
Tree
game.
of Life. The Vikings believe that this is what connected to the 9 worlds, with one of them you might know being Asgard. Treyarch clearly loved Norse mythology, considering they sprinkled it into Origins, with the robot names being Thor, Odin, and Freya, as well as the name of the upgraded ice staff also coming from Norse mythology, Ul's Arrow. So I don't think it would be a stretch for them to pull even more from this mythology when fleshing out their Zombies lore to help expand it. Yggdrasil in the case of Zombies.
Dude, seeing Nordic mythology come to life, like some God of War stuff, boy, in COD Zombies, I think is where Chaos was gonna go. And I think that's really where Zombies needed to go. I just wish they kept the same perks. Like, it's crazy how perks changed the entire outcome. Perks! I still can't believe that.
Would be
I can't believe
frozen
that.
Forest.
It's
Our
actually insane to
characters
think
are
about.
here during their downtime or when there's nowhere else to go. Notice how at the end of Black Ops 4, the Frozen Forest was the last place to go. Almost like it's the heart of the ether. When Primus need to travel, this
Interesting.
place is the gateway to those other worlds, those
True.
other maps. With
Oh.
115 acting as a life source of this version of the Tree of Life. Both of these ideals come together to make a compelling and interesting theory about what the Frozen Forest really is and the purpose it serves, which then makes sense as to why the forest is the main menu of all places, the empty place between worlds. It's deep, and there might be...
That is extremely deep. Like, what kind of main menu's got you thinking like that? Shut up to COD Zombies, bro.
But it makes so much sense, and it feels like a very
That is really
Treyarchy
cool
thing
when you
to
think
do.
about it.
And now for our final entry, Beyond the Ether.
Beyond the
Ether
Ether.
is a lot. It's similar to space in a way. A seemingly...
Beyond the Ether so far is Cold War and Vanguard, so Why don't we go back?
Never vast, complex anomalies that we may never see or fully understand. And the Ether in COD Zombies makes me wonder what is beyond that. That space we already know about. The things we've seen from the Dark Ether in Cold War is only
I do like Cold War for teasing it. Vanguard, like I said, I just don't even acknowledge its existence. But bro, COD 2024 needs to build on this for sure.
Scratching the surface, as well as, I guess, both of these ethers put together. I mean, the ether has showed elder gods, like the giant Lovecraftian bug that we see in Revelations. And then Cold War waltzed in and brought even more into the mix. So then I've got to ask, what is past the ether? What is further?
Treyarch's writing capabilities. That is what is past the ether. Treyarch's writing capabilities. Can they write us into a better story? That is what is past the ether right there.
Past the ether.
That's
what
the
is
only
even
truth.
Further.
It's the only
ether?
truth.
Whole universes and anomalies we probably can't even imagine.
It's the only
it's
truth.
Something that Cold War and BO3 dipped their toes into, especially, but the possibilities are mind-blowing. What lies out there across the vast open ether realm and deep into the cold, unpredictable dark ether? The realms that got us into this whole mess in the first place contain incomprehensible things. It's something I hope Treyarch touch on in the future, but what could it all possibly be like beyond the ether?
Just no more Vanguard, please. Can we at least all agree on that? No more Vanguard, please. Just no more. Is that it? Did we get through all 92? No way, boys. Did we do it?
There you have it.
We did it!
The third.
Woo! Whoa!
And go and consume some more.
No other series can you make 3 icebergs on with that much information. I'm spitting factuals to you guys, boys.
I want to talk about this iceberg, and also I have an important announcement regarding the future of this series.
I'm curious.
First off, that was one heck of
an
iceberg.
That was an insane video.
The guy that made that must be so
I gotta
cool.
like the video.
Jokes aside, I think this chart is actually pretty decent. Now, I think you might notice that there were 1 or 2 from maybe the first iceberg or second iceberg that I couldn't find initially.
No, I'm glad that he basically covered everything and
when I was doing those videos. And so I wanted to incorporate them into this.
But boys, I'm just gonna end it here. I'm gonna let him spiel off, but bro, shout out to Exceptional Gamer, boys. Go check this man out. Seriously, an incredible YouTuber, an incredible video too. Like, absolutely.